Hold up.
I know that was wild last week. I was nervous for you. What's good, chat? Happy Thursday. We are here. Fluent and Chill. Finally, it's nice to have a game night where it's nice to have a night where we don't have a game playing. But
well, no, that's not true.
Well, NBA game.
No, but no. I mean, I want games every night. Like it's nice that there's not a game on right now when we're doing the show, right? Is that what you mean?
This actually kind of sucks, to be quite honest with you.
Because
does it feel empty?
Not only does it feel empty, you figure we got the NBA Finals going on, right? Which is great. But after the NBA Finals, the season's over. What are we going to do?
Get ready for the draft.
That's what we're about to do.
And then NFL, and then we do it all over again.
This summer league.
Messi, we could talk about soccer. Somebody said, what's Messi to Miami in NBA terms?
When I see the hands go up, this is serious.
Yeah,
because it is. Can we start with I know you got. Listen, everybody in the chat. I know you want to talk football or basketball. We're going to talk about basketball. Can I ask, because you guys are 49ers fans, I gotta ask you a football question real quick about your team, because I saw something today.
I already know where you're going with this, Tone, but go ahead.
Yeah, I saw it too. Dalvin?
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, wait.
Can Sam Darnold win your QB competition and be the starting quarterback?
No, he cannot, Tone. I knew he was going there. Yes, I'm sure. Yes. He's a turnover machine.
No.
I am sure, Tone. Yes.
Don't even try. Don't even try.
Are you sure?
Hey, Tone.
Let's be honest.
On opening night.
Trey Lance is unproven, right? We agree.
Okay.
He's coming off an injury.
Okay.
Yes.
So we don't know what we're going to get from him.
Correct.
Right. Brock Purdy looked like he really understood the offense and picked it up, and absolutely he has a legit shot because he does that. Now, Sam Darnold, let me just throw this one out there because they've got him in the mix. So we know it's whoever plays best. Hold on. Okay, hold on. He was in a crazy Jets organization that no quarterback succeeds in. Let's be honest.
Correct.
Not even Joe Namath, if you really look at the numbers, even Joe Namath didn't succeed, and he won a Super Bowl. Statistically, though, he stunk. So they don't have a quarterback. Every quarterback that's gone in there. So you can't hold the Jets against him.
Right.
He goes to Carolina. Well, he doesn't have his feature back, and he runs the ball pretty well, but okay, he's a bit of a turnover machine. Mm-hmm. So this is his first situation, and also there's some rocky coaching, everything there in Carolina too. It's not like that's a stable franchise. So here's a very talented QB going into a system where they're going to allow him to succeed. What's crazy about him edging out Trey Lance, who I think is super overrated, but also injured and young and hasn't shown us anything, and a guy in Brock Purdy who wasn't he the last pick in the draft? He's Mr. Irrelevant. That's his actual draft selection.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it crazy to be can Sam Darnold win that?
Okay, so I can't believe I'm getting involved in this conversation, but sure, no problem. So the fact that Tone glossed over him being a bit of a turnover machine. In fact, when he came out of college, he was exactly a turnover machine. Okay, I want to make sure we're clear on that part right there. Please don't leave that part out, okay? That's number one. Number two, he got benched for your favorite quarterback in Mr. Butterbean, right? That was after he got the job back from Butterbean. So now he's going to come to the 49ers.
That's Butter Mayfield, for those who don't know, my favorite all-time all-time QB in the history, Baker Mayfield.
Yes. So now he's going to come to a team with, by the way, contrary to popular belief, we do have a pretty stable quarterback situation. In the words of my man Marlo Stansfield from The Wire, we have one of them good problems. Well, what do you mean one of them good problems? We have a problem where we have a quarterback who knows the system. Not only does he know the system, he thrived in that system. And he is better today, as he is rehabbing. He is better today than Sam Darnold. So when he gets healthy, there will be no question. That job is Brock Purdy's job to lose. Yeah. It is not his job to win. He will be ready for training camp, and it's his job to lose. Trey Lance and not Trey Lance, not Sam Darnold. Trey Lance is going to have to beat him out. They're not going into camp.
You've already got Sam Darnold in your head.
They're looking at Sam Darnold as insurance. You know why? Because we had a quarterback on our team last year who played wide receiver. Yes, Mr. Williams. And what we also had, Tone, was we had a quarterback on our team who we had to emergency show him the playbook. Who was our running back, by the way, because we were out of quarterbacks. And we're not going to get ourselves in that situation again. So if we have to have Sam Darnold as our third string quarterback, I take no issue with that. But the idea of Sam Darnold on opening day as the starting quarterback for the 49ers, no, Tone. I don't think
okay. So. I'm just putting it out there because everyone is, if I were to do a poll, it'd be like 50% Purdy, 50% Trey Lance.
If you were to do a poll, it would be 100% Purdy, 0% Sam Darnold.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay. All right.
But thanks for putting that out there, Fluent.
I do appreciate it.
I do.
This is what I'm saying. This is all I'm saying. This is all I'm saying. When we're talking about us three, Jay, you're Brock Purdy. You went out there and you showed it and you did it.
Yep.
Hailey is Trey Lance. Everybody likes her, but she's unproven. And I'm Sam Darnold, and I'm going to sneak up on y'all. Just watch. Just watch.
No way. Not
okay,
even close.
I'm speaking it into existence. I am speaking it into existence.
Don't jinx us. That's jinxing us. That's not a good thing. But anyways, we'll remember that. If it happens, I'm blaming you.
We'll definitely
with that defense, that running game, I'm just saying.
Oh, am I really sitting here listening to you trying to sell me Sam Darnold? Do you remember Sam Darnold?
Are you doing this so you guys don't have to take him on?
Right. Is that what's going on right
Where
now?
are the Bears in all of this?
No. Do you remember Sam Darnold, Tone? What was the logic on Sam Darnold coming out of college, though?
Check this out. If Sam Darnold is the starting quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, I can say with pretty much confidence that my starting quarterback is top 3 in the NFC.
It's not a question. It's not. What?
All right. Back to back. Man, we still got basketball to talk about. I'll let you take it over.
On to the next topic. So Jay, Brittany Renner. What's the deal there?
That's where you're starting?
Just kidding.
Unbelievable, man. Hey, listen.
No.
Can you call up Cuz and bring him on? I would like to question him on his decision.
So many questions.
Oh man.
But yeah, we don't have to touch on that.
I don't even know what this whole thing is about.
Yeah.
To be honest
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, we'll find out.
No,
for real.
I feel like he needs a bigger woman. He's so big. Like he needs to find himself like a 6'4", 6'5", like volleyball player, like something like Every time I see him, like they're just like,
yeah.
Just saying.
But no, I did want to ask.
You started
about,
this.
Yeah, I did start this.
So we clear. Just so we 100% clear. So we're good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're good. Chris Paul, though, he was waived over the last couple of days, and now I just have a lot of questions about that. Like, for one, he said that he believes he'll play for the next several years, and I'm not sure if this is just the franchise in his ear, kind of like, we got you, we're gonna help you find a good landing spot. But at the same time, does anyone really believe that Chris Paul? I mean, he's already at the end of his prime. He's not in his prime whatsoever. And obviously he could come off the bench and facilitate for any team. I think he would do a great job, but he's not going to want to do that. It's Chris Paul. I don't see him being willing to come off the bench, or maybe I'm wrong, but Jay, what are your thoughts on like where Chris could be or what team would want him? I don't know what his contract is.
I've gotten sold that he could still be a starter, but in a limited role on a championship team. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that logic doesn't work simply because his best years are behind him. And if you're on a championship team, particularly in the playoffs, you can't hide guys like Chris Paul because they're going to go after you. And guys like Chris Paul are guys who, number one, break down. Number two, they are defensive liabilities. And they're not being that you can't hide these kind of guys. So with that being said, I think Chris Paul in a reserve role, like with Kyle Lowry, to your point, H, when you talked about him playing for several more years? Well, it depends on what role he's in, because this guy is not going to play several more years where, okay, he ends up in Boston and it doesn't work in Boston, and then he's going to end up back in Phoenix, or he's going to end up in Portland or something.
He'll be floating.
No. Right. I can't.
You don't want to do that in the end. Your end years floating around. That's
well, he's already turned into a journeyman. He went from Oklahoma City to Houston, and from Houston to Phoenix, and I mean, he's already turned into that. So I love Chris Paul in a Kyle Lowry role, and I love him on a team like Sacramento. I love him in Boston, where he can play behind somebody and still be viable, where I could get 20, 25 minutes from him and he could still be really, really good, as opposed to giving him the basketball and him playing, let's say 55 games, right? Him playing 55 games and him getting, I don't know, Tone, 28 minutes a game as a starter. Well, what's the difference between that and being a rotation guy? I don't think that there's much difference there. Now, when you talk about the Phoenix Suns in terms of the money situation, the money situation works out more for Phoenix than it does for him, because I think his big paydays, I think those days are behind him.
Okay.
I think CP3. I don't think. Here's the problem. Let me go back. Let me start there. I think the problem is perception, and unless he changes it, is that he wants to be a starter.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because anyone who comes out and says, I still got years left to play, he's not saying I have a lot I could teach a younger guard. He's not saying I have a lot that I can do and kind of help a championship team, coming off the bench. And that's not what he's saying. He said, I'm playing 4 years. So the perception by me is he wants to be a starter. And when you look at the money that he was set to make, and again, don't know Chris Paul personally, but I'm going off assumptions here, is that I was set to make a certain amount of money. I'm not playing for the veteran minimum. I'm not coming off the bench.
Right.
Who does that remind you of? Perception-wise, Carmelo Anthony. And when Carmelo Anthony had that perception, and we saw that it wasn't a reality. He went to Portland and he was fantastic coming off the bench. But what did the NBA do to a guy that was perceived to want too much money and perceived to want to be a starter? Exactly. They were like, sorry, dude, we're out. And I think that might hurt Chris Paul's value unless there is a LeBron James who says, hey, and they have that conversation, come for the veteran minimum, come off the bench for the Lakers and help us win a chip. Maybe, but will he do that? I don't know. Where's another situation where he could be a starting point guard? Well, on a good team, I don't think there's that many. Like, could he go to you talk about a guy who can distribute the ball, and like they need that in Minnesota. Is he going to go and would he go to Minnesota and say, hey, Gobert, Cat, if they keep him, Ant, I'm going to get you guys the ball. Don't worry about it. Whatever. And you got to cover me. Hey, Cat, you got to play some defense. Gobert, cover my butt because, hey, I'm a little bit slower. Like there's very, very, Boston, maybe another one where they need a veteran guy who will play 20 minutes, but still give them the start, right? The start, maybe the end, right? To start and then to end the fourth quarter. So there might be, 3-4 places, but other than that, if this perception that I have goes out to, hey, I want to be a starter, I want to play starter minutes, I want starter money, I want $20-25 million a year, I don't think he lands anywhere next year. Now, from a basketball perspective, I think there's a lot of teams that can use him, like you said, as still a starter, but really a role player, right? I think, respect what he has done. So I'm going to give him the start, but I'm going to have another change of pace point guard who's going to come in and push the tempo, in the second half to start the third quarter, like those types of things. And he's going to be my closer. I can see him in that role. The problem again but he's always breaking down in the playoffs,
which is going to happen.
And right. Why would you pay for that? Or put money towards that?
At the right price, with the right mindset, in the right role, I think there's a handful of teams where he could be super, super useful if he has that mindset. And I don't know. The other thing against him, and this shouldn't go against him, but it does, being so involved with the players union, and being so involved there, they do hold that against you sometimes. And so I don't know how the negotiations went on the new CBA, but if he was,
they actually got it done pretty quick.
They got it done really quick. So that's why I'm thinking it's not a bad thing. But if he was a pain in the butt during that, owners are gonna be like, dude, I don't want to pay this dude. Like he was a thorn in my side for those 2 weeks, even though, like I said, it was quick. So I don't think that's the case.
Right.
But there had been previous negotiations, and they have long memories, right? So I'm really concerned with Chris Paul. But I think those teams that I mentioned, I think he could really help. I'm not saying he's, the Lakers. The Lakers is just so like typical of any free agent. Oh, you're a free agent? No, he's going to the Lakers. He knows Chris Paul, he's friends with LeBron James. Oh, he's going to the Lakers. Maybe it's hey, he should have been there 15 years ago, and he just wants to be like, hey, let me get my chance to go. So that one is still in the mix,
right?
But
two things though, Tone. Number one, him leaving Phoenix, they don't have a backup plan. So who's their point guard? Their point guard right now is Cameron Payne.
Yeah, that can't be your starter. So my understanding is there's 3 names that I've heard more than any. James Harden, finding a way to trade for Damian Lillard just came up today. And the other one, which is odd to me because I don't think he fits, but was Fred VanVleet.
Fred VanVleet, I did hear that. However, Fred VanVleet
fits though, but
I believe Fred VanVleet is a free agent this season. So they're going to have to pay for him, which
a lot.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. So they already got KD on the books for another 3 years at max money. They got Devin Booker on the books for another 3 more years at max money. And you want to bring in Fred VanVleet, who isn't much of a transition point guard as much as CP was. Wasn't the defender that CP was. Cameron Payne playing behind him, I don't think that would help much. Them bringing Chris Paul back to this situation. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, that they decide, okay, we're going to eat the $15 million, and then we can bring him back at a reduced rate of the vet minimum of $3 million. So that's basically $18 million for him.
So pause there for a second. I see Sebastian in the chat. I'm going to ask you to do me a favor and look this up, because if there isn't, there really should be. Can you release a player and get some of that? Because I know that when you release him, not all of it goes as a cap hit, as dead money, and
well, this is what I was
re-sign him.
That
shouldn't be allowed.
This is what I was getting ready to explain, Tom. So, with the $15.8 million that they, I believe as of June 28th, if they cut him, that's all they on the hook for. They could bring him back. However, if they don't, and it's like, I believe it's like $12.7 million. Not only do they lose their mid-level, they also can't re-sign him at the same time. So with that being said, which one is better? Would it be better to cut him and eat the money and either bring him back for the vet minimum or just let him walk? Because when you look at him in terms of trade value, you're not really getting much for him. And the reason why I'm saying that, Tony, is because they probably did. They probably checked other teams' temperature and thought, well, let's see what's the market for Chris Paul.
Wasn't he set to make like $32 million?
$30 million this year, and something like that. He's on the books for 2 more years, by the way.
Yeah.
He's on the books for 2 more years. With that being said, the money situation is really tricky, and I think Phoenix is trying to get out of that right now. But I also hearing that Chris Paul, he wants this thing wrapped up quickly because he doesn't want. I was thinking on draft night. What I call draft night, I call draft night check day. Check day is the day when I got all my money and whatever it is that you want, come get it. But after that day, we're done. So on draft night, I was thinking that they would hold. I was thinking they would hold on to him until draft night, and maybe, just maybe, they might get some teams that have something, and maybe I can coax you into taking this guy off my hands. Only problem is the draft is in 2 weeks, and Chris Paul wants this thing wrapped up now. He doesn't want this thing wrapped up in 2 weeks where it could benefit the Phoenix Suns too. But you mentioned him breaking down, Tone. When you say breaking down, it's not something minimal neither. Like when he breaks down, he's done. So in the playoffs, when he got hurt, he was done for the rest of the playoffs.
He did play hurt that 1 year where they went and lost to Milwaukee. He did. He was hurt, but he's always hurt. But he did play through that one.
Right.
But you're right. That was the exception to the rule.
Right.
That was
Yeah, the longer he plays, the more likely you won't see him at all.
Right, and you're not going to see him.
And how old is he now? What is he? 38.
38. Yeah.
Oh, he just turned.
I think. He just turned 38. In
If he didn't turn 38, he's at minimum he's 37. I do know that. At minimum, he's 37.
Okay, so let's see. So he's got 2 years remaining on his 4-year deal of $120 million. So he's owed $60 million ish. Only $15.8 million of that is guaranteed for 23-24, and no money is guaranteed for 24-25. Okay, so Suns want to trade him and deal. That'd have to be done based on a current. Okay, so that's why the trade didn't go through. So you're right. So the trade would have had to been $30 million back, or 10% difference.
Correct.
But you release them, you eat the 15 mil, and then you move on for another day. So if anybody, I know I asked my friend Sebastian there, but anybody who has that knowledge, please let us know.
I'm giving it to you right now. So
you're checking? Okay.
I'm going to give it. I'm going to give you this information.
Because even if they're allowed to cut him and then sign him for the vet minimum,
this is the way this works. This is the way this works, Tone.
Take on the full 15.5 cap charge, access the $5 million tax.
Oops. There we go.
Mm-hmm. So we clear.
Can't see it.
Hold on.
I can just waive and stretch provision 3. Yeah. Well.
You can still. They still have the stretch.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. There you go. All right. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah. Okay, so
all that to tell you what you already knew. I don't like it.
Okay, give us if you had to say, if you're a GM or you had to make a prediction, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think they'll end up keeping him, or do you think he's gone?
They're not losing our mid-level exception, but they're not going to do that. So
they're
going to lose our mid-level exception, and I'll be good. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, another, like you mentioned, Fluent, another guy that is in.
Well, what about you? You didn't tell us. Where do you think you'll go? So let's actually go round table quick.
Okay.
Where do you think he'll land, Hailey?
I have a hard time seeing any team that's extremely successful right now is going to want to take that on. No disrespect, Chris Paul is a fantastic point guard. He's old. Like maybe he'll be like that, like you said, that Kyle Lowry, that UD figure. But I don't know if, like you also said, I don't know if Chris Paul wants that role right now. I think we all could say like he could make a great coach one day. I just don't know if he's settled with that reality.
He's gonna be the head coach of the Raptors. He's gonna be the head coach of the Raptors.
Really? Okay. Well, maybe you can transition into that, but it's hard. Like that transition itself must be really difficult. And coming to terms with that. But yeah, I love that Minnesota pick. I also think maybe
you have to come on. You have to pick one. I mean, come on.
Give me one, H. Who you got, H? Who you like, H? H just so you guys know, you can't put H under the gun. You can't put H under the gun.
I'm not a huge Chris Paul fan, so I would say maybe like the Rockets, the Pistons. I don't think a team that's currently playing right now. I'm sorry.
That's horrible. Pistons. Oh wait, Pistons. Reconnect with Monty Williams, mentor the young kids. Yeah, maybe that could be. Then he could turn into an assistant coach. That's not crazy, actually.
Oh, not going to
where you got? You can only pick one, Jay. You can only pick one.
To be honest with you, Tone, I was loving Russell Westbrook, but I don't think that they're going to sign him. I can see Chris Paul back with the Clippers. I could see him back with the Clippers.
And he would get that starting role there, I bet, wouldn't he?
I could see him back with the Clippers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like Chris Paul where he should have been 5 years ago in the retirement home. All right, next topic.
Okay.
Hey, yo.
Another player that we're talking about could be moving, and we have this conversation every offseason, let's be real. But of course, it's Dame Lillard, and it seems like this could be more of a reality than ever before, being that Portland seems to really be like diverging the fact that they're either going to rebuild or they're going to try to contend now. I don't think they could even accumulate the pieces that they would need to contend now. At this point, personally, I just don't think it's going to happen, especially in the West. The West is look real bad this year, but we know next season it'll probably come back together. Of course. So, Fluent, talk to me about Dame. Are you buying into this? And if you are, where could you see him go?
So, yeah, I'm buying into it, and I'm buying into it because I think that Portland is exhausting every possibility of who can we get for that third pick, and or even say his last name because I always say it wrong. Simons.
Damn
it.
You
Simons.
almost had it, Tom.
Damn it. Brown. Yeah, I can't say. I've known Mrs. Fluent since we were 4 years old. I still can't say her last name right. So just before y'all take
people Houston. It's not Houston. It's Houston, folks.
Houston.
Yeah.
I'm going to Houston.
No,
people call
Houston.
I'm going to Houston, Texas. All right.
Well, it ain't Houston.
What were we talking about? Dame. So I think they
Dame.
are absolutely. I think they are absolutely going in. What can we get for Simons? What can we get for that third pick? What can we get for literally anybody on that roster to see if we can pair Damian Lillard with one or two people? Right? You hear the rumors about Siakam. You hear the rumors about Jaylen Brown. I guarantee you they are trying.
Wait, Fluent, I'm going to cut you off really, really quick
Yes.
because chat, get those likes up. This is a non-game day. I want to see those likes up right now. You guys have been slacking, and I'm disappointed in you. You said, I'm sorry. But also, before Fluent continues with what he's saying, I want you guys to drop who you have in the Dame going as well. Do you buy into it? If not, and then we'll look through the chat as well. Okay.
No, you were saying that they were doing. They're
doing everything in their power. They're doing everything in their power to pair Dame with at least one other person, if not two, right? Because he hasn't. Let's be honest. You might like CJ McCollum, but that's really been his best teammate, and that's not enough. No, I like CJ McCollum, but Dame and CJ is not enough to compete in this NBA. It's not enough. So I think they're trying to do that. If that is going nowhere, and that part we don't know, but if I guarantee they're on the phones right now, and if there's no interest, if there is no if every answer is, oh, you want this person, well, tell me about what we'd have to give you to get Dame, right? Because that's what the GMs are. I guarantee you Boston's like, oh, you want to,
exactly,
you want Jaylen Brown, Brown for the third pick. Well, what if we gave you Marcus Smart and this person and that person for Dame to bring Dame over here? And they're like, right? So that's what a smart GM would do.
Yeah.
And so I think if they're hitting that brick wall over and over and over again, they might just be like, hey, let's look at both angles, right? Let's see, can we get XYZ for Dame? Can we get, young guys like, 25, 26, whatever year old, like a possible star and draft picks, right? Can we get a package that makes sense where our fans aren't going to be like, we hate you? Because here's the thing. I know a lot of people in Portland. I spent a lot of time in Portland, and I love Portland. I tell you all the time. I hope you've checked out Buster's if you haven't already. I keep telling you. So the people of Portland the basketball fans would understand. Like if they traded Dame, be like, hey, we want to listen. Dame has been true to us. Dame has been great for the city of Portland, and it came to that point where we couldn't put a team around him that we thought would be a title contender. So we wanted to put him in a better situation where he had a chance and obviously get as much as we can to start kind of the rebuilding process. No one in Portland would be mad. They'd be like, yeah, you know what? That's the right thing. And they'd applaud Dame Lillard. They'd give him a standing ovation every time he came back to Portland. They'd retire his number. You know how I feel about that. But they'd retire his number. They would do all those right things for Dame in Portland. So no one's going to blame them if they do that. And I think if you've noticed the last couple of days, the rumors have started to shift of who's going to Portland and where is Dame going. So that being said, like I said, Phoenix I know is trying to figure out a way to get him there. I don't know that they have enough pieces, assets, whatever. Where would I like to see Dame?
And the trade package that they a trade package you could see playing.
I could see if they're over, the two wing set that isn't working, I could see Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, a draft pick going to Portland for Dame.
Wow.
Well, here's the first problem that we're having is that Damian Lillard, the last 2 years of his deal, he's on the books for $58 and $60 million.
Jesus, Murphy.
So we got to make that money up.
Yeah.
He's going into year 12 this season coming up, the 23-24 season. He's going into year 12. We've probably exhausted every possibility that we could with Damian Lillard. In the 18-19 season, when they win the Western Conference Championship, I've mentioned this in the past, that was as good as it got with that group. And they got mopped out of the playoffs by the Golden State Warriors, swept out of the West Finals, which means that we're not close. That was the time to upgrade that roster. They did not.
How much is he making? Sorry, can I sorry to cut you off? How much is he making?
So I believe this year he comes at this year he's finished. I believe he's at 43 this year. Next year I believe he's at 45. In the last 2 years of the deal, he's at 58 and 60.
So Marcus Smart is and Jaylen Brown are set to make 49.
Mm-hmm.
So they're aligned. They're aligned financially.
They are aligned.
They're aligned financially.
Now, again, Tone, this is what I'm thinking. Because, again, what they didn't do, excuse me, they didn't upgrade that roster. Even though everybody else in the Western Conference got better. With everybody else in the Western Conference getting better, you basically exhausted all the possibilities that you could with Dame. I think we're at the end of our rope. So how about we move off of Damian Lillard and get all the picks that we can? And what we're going to do is we're going to keep that number 3 pick, and we're going to build this unit around not Damian Lillard. We're going to build this unit around Anthony Simons and Scoot Henderson, which is going to be Dame and CJ McCullough 2.0. That's where we're going to start with. Because what we have right now and what we could get to bring in to help Dame Lillard win the NBA championship is not going to happen. There is no quick fix here. It's like anything, Tone. When you start talking to your lady and she tells you, you think we should start seeing other people? Well, that's the same as now I'm starting to entertain other trade out. That means that we're starting to look at the front door, where if something comes along that sounds good, we're probably going to do this, as opposed to, no, I'm not entertaining anything. Listen, we're going to work this out. We'll go to counseling. We'll do whatever. No, now I'm actually entertaining other offers. And you hear Dame Lillard saying stuff like, well, I'll listen if you're talking. I'm not going. I think I'm confident that I heard him say he is not playing in Boston. I'm confident that he said that.
So that's why I brought this up, and I said, and no, because I'm confident the person asked him, between these teams, who would be your what choice, and he said, well, yeah, I'd go to Miami because is it Jimmy? Bam's my boy. Bam's my guy. I'd go to Brooklyn because Bridges is my guy. And then someone on Boston goes, yo, I thought I was your guy, or so, I don't know but he never said I refuse to play in Boston. And even if he did, that's a load of crap, because Jimmy Butler said, I'll wear any jersey except a Heat jersey.
He did say that.
He said that, quote.
He did say that.
And what's he doing right now? And what's he doing right now? Taking him to the second NBA Finals in 4 years. So give the whole I won't ever do this. Listen, for $60 million, you'll do what I tell you to do.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. He'll play in Washington D.C.
He will. Yes, he will.
He'll definitely.
He might not like it. He might not like it.
But honey, we moving to D.C. That's what we are. Yeah. We are moving to D.C.
Oh, and for all the guys in the chat, because I know there's a lot of them. If your girl ever says, I think we should see other people, just move on. Just go.
What are we doing here?
That's it. It's been done. Save yourself.
What are we doing here? And I think that with the Trailblazers, they're starting to entertain talks. We're going into year 12 with Damian Lillard. He'll be 33 next month. So how many more years you think we got with this dude, Tone? I think that the Scoot Henderson, Anthony Simons, I think that era is about to start, and we're gonna build this unit around these two, and we're gonna build.
Now
this
imagine, okay. So think about this. Think about a lineup that has Scoot, Simons, Jaylen Brown, and a Marcus Smart somewhere in there coming off the bench, being maybe in the backcourt with Scoot. I know that's a small backcourt, but he's a defensive player.
That's a good starting core.
That's a good starting core to build around, and they're not. And I'm just saying, and maybe listen, and you could probably flip. Let's be honest, you can flip a guy like Marcus Smart, who's a perimeter defender that you need in today's NBA, who can knock down some threes now all of a sudden, like not crazy good, but he's efficient enough. You can flip him for another couple of young players. Like, I don't think that's a crazy. How old is Jaylen? 26?
27.
27. How old is Simons? 23.
I think 23. 22.
And then your rookie Scoot, like, we got 5-7 years. We can build on that core. Like you
Portland
bring
did a great
And don't
job.
and don't forget about like Jeremy Grant. They have Shaden
Right,
Sharp.
yes.
They have Nurk,
Oh,
Aldo.
I really like Shaden Sharp.
I do
Problem with Jeremy Grant though, H, is that he comes off the books after this season. They got to pay him. Yeah,
that's
the
the
problem.
that.
Yeah,
But
that's the problem with him. But when I think about Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown, we may have to get a third team involved in this.
They also have what's his name? Matisse Thybulle. I forgot that they
do
traded
have
him.
too. Yes,
so they really have some good guys on that team.
They got some young guys. That's why I'm thinking about. That's what I'm thinking about with Damian Lillard. I think the best case scenario is, and as much as I hate this, I think the best case scenario is because we're trying to win, Tone, and we ain't trying to just get to the playoffs and get bounced in the first round, because that's probably what's going to happen. Nobody is giving us a franchise player for the number 3 pick. Nobody's giving us that.
The people who
Minnesota's not going to hand over Cat for the number 3 pick.
The people who are saying Simons and the 3rd pick for Siakam. Why would Toronto do that?
No, they wouldn't do that. No.
They need another little guard and Scoot and get rid of their best player. Like it makes no
They would not do that. And Minnesota is not handing over the number 3 pick, or Minnesota is not handing over Cat for the number 3 pick. And I don't know, throw somebody else in. They're not going to do that. So I think that
why would they even want the 3rd pick?
Minnesota, there's no reason why they would. Even though, don't get me wrong now, Tone. I mean, they gave up a lot of their draft picks for Rudy Gobert, but
sure.
They gave up a lot of their draft picks for Rudy Gobert. So to get a lottery pick back, I don't think Cat is. I don't think they feel in giving up Cat for the number 3 pick, though, because essentially what you're doing when you're giving up Cat for the number 3 pick is you saying that the guy that you pick at the number 3 pick, he's going to be just as good as Cat. Do you believe that over the next 5 years that the number 3 pick is going to be just as good as Cat? If you're doing that, then you're giving up the pick. And I don't know if I love that, because as much as I think Cat gives me Chris Webber vibes, he still was 24-12, and he played a lot. So he played just about. Before this season, he didn't really get hurt that much. So I mean, we're talking 7 years of 22, 23 and 11, 24 and 12. So I mean, I don't know if I'm
Brandon Miller. Yeah, see, the chat is smart. Now Brandon Miller was available at 3 years. A whole nother conversation.
That actually is the question I want to ask next. So we get to draft day. All right, Wemby, boom, he goes to the Spurs. No question about that. Unless no, just kidding.
Can you imagine that?
What?
If San Antonio was like,
they're just like, we actually want Scoot. You know what?
Or we trading the pick to, I don't know, we trading it to the Knicks or something like that.
There's no way that would never happen.
Never.
Are you nuts?
It's probably the best thing they could do. But
yeah,
what kind of crazy are you? Because I don't think I've ever seen this kind of crazy before.
No.
What kind of crazy are you? No.
Okay, so Wemby goes to the Spurs, and then it's down to Scoot and Will, right? And Charlotte ends up taking Scoot. What's the scenario? Where's Dame going to stand? What are we going to be looking at if that ends up being the scenario? Because right now we're just going based off these simulations that people are saying no, they don't want Scoot. Charlotte doesn't want Scoot. This is how it's going to land.
Charlotte doesn't want Scoot. Oh, Charlotte doesn't want Scoot, and I understand.
No, they do.
Charlotte does want him.
No, they don't want him. So let's say that they wait. Now I'm confused. So right now they're saying that they would prefer to take Will because they don't want Scoot. Right. So let's just say, and that's what we're going off of right now. That's why we're the third, the kid. Is he a forward?
Who, you mean Brandon Miller?
Brandon Miller, yeah.
That's what you're
Brandon.
about.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So Brandon Miller. Mm-hmm. So what if they end up taking Scoot? They're left. Brandon Miller is that option. What do we look at then? Because
Portland would love that.
Yeah,
I do think Portland.
So
would
then
love
Dame
that.
stays.
I don't think, to be honest with you, H, I don't think Dame wants to leave Portland.
He does,
but I think that he's in this. I think he's in this position where the chatter has gotten so loud that now it's become apparent that maybe I have to go, because when you somewhere so long, you just become a part of that. So Damian Lillard, he's the Portland Trailblazers, just like Steph Curry is the Golden State Warriors. But if Steph Curry been in the Bay Area for the last 13 years and they weren't winning, And after a while, we started hearing from time to time, hey, we got to get Steph Curry out of Golden State. We got to get Steph Curry out of
Even
Golden
from the fans. That's why it's so bad at this point. Like, Dame's hearing this from the fans saying, we love you, but you need to go. Like, at that point, why do you even play?
Right, exactly. Because you get to a point where the chatter is so loud that perception becomes reality. Even if I don't want to be traded, I'm going to be traded. Yeah. Even if I don't want out, I'm going to be out. And the reason why I'm going to be out is because the fans, they talk so loud, the media talk so loud, that I'm going to end up in Philadelphia somewhere simply because they think that I should be playing for a championship. Even though I don't want to leave Portland, which he doesn't. And I'm sure he said that to management, that he doesn't want to leave there. But they've gotten to a point now where, I mean, they've probably gotten everything that they're going to get out of him. And we're at a point now where if Brandon Miller shows up in Portland, Brandon Miller, Anthony Simons, we're not winning with this group. So because we're not winning with this group, we obviously got to move. We're not winning with this group. We're going to build around this group. So we're going to have to move on from Dame and continue to build this group to get better because we got a bunch of pups out here, right? We got a bunch of pups with Jeremy Grant, who's been around for a while. And we've already seen that, we're not winning with Jeremy Grant as your third best player. So maybe we can accommodate Dame and get him to a place where we're both happy. Because it's not just going to be, we shipping Dame to Boston or we shipping Dame to Brooklyn and it doesn't work out for Portland. No, it's got to work out for everybody.
And I think because Dame is that franchise player, they're going to do everything to place him where he's happy. This isn't some Kyrie dump off where it's like, sorry, he screwed us. No, like it's going to be hopefully all good, but we'll see. And I did also want to ask you too, before we jump onto the main topic and get into some super chats. Obviously.
Sorry, because I obviously I'm getting beat because I said Wemba's a fraud. Let me ask you guys a question.
You believe that?
A little trivia time. No, just a little trivia time. You know how I love history. In the last 25 years, how many number one picks have won an MVP in the NBA?
So the last 25 years. So let's see. In 1998, the number one overall pick in the draft in 98. Let me remember that. Who was the number one overall pick?
Wait, 20 years.
My apologies. No, last 25 years.
25 years.
In the last 25 years, how many finals MVPs have we gotten out of the number one overall pick?
Okay, I think James.
Finals MVP. So
I think James. If I think of it, when I think about everybody else, I think James. Because when I think about the number one overall pick in the draft, you could just run down the finals MVP.
Yeah.
So who was the finals MVP last year? The finals MVP was Curry. That was in 21. I mean, in 22. In 21, it was Giannis. In 20, it was James. In 19, it was Leonard. In 18, it was KD. In 17, it was KD. In 16, it was James. In 15, it was Iguodala. In 14, it was Leonard. In 13, it was James. 12, it was James. In 11, it was Dirk. In 10, it was Bryant. In 9, it was Bryant. In 8, it was Paul Pierce. In 07, it was Tony Parker. In 06, it was Wade. In 05, it was Duncan. In 04, it was Chauncey Billups. In 03, it was Duncan. In 02, it was Diesel. In 01, Diesel. In 2000, Diesel. In 99, it was Duncan. And in 98, it was Jay. So, nope, Jay was not the number one overall pick. So, Duncan, Diesel, James. That's it.
In the last 25 years, to win a Finals MVP, it was James that were drafted in the last 25 years. Because
as the number one overall pick.
Diesel,
they're drafted
He's
prior.
in 92.
He got
right.
And Duncan was drafted the year
Finals
before.
MVP. Finals MVP drafted in the last 25 years is James.
That's it.
So so let's go league MVP. Let's make it a little bit broader because it's hard to win a Finals MVP.
Right. The number one overall pick to win just a regular MVP.
Wow.
The number one overall pick. So that was Joker last year. It was Joker the year before.
He wasn't a number one pick.
Oh, and we just
We just ran off everybody the number one picks. Okay, I'll save some time because I know we got other topics. 2, LeBron, Derrick Rose.
That's it.
That's it. of those 25 number one picks, how many of them have even won an NBA championship, even as like a role player, like Andrew Wiggins? So I'll give you one of them.
Mm-hmm.
6.
Andrew Wiggins, James, the number one overall pick. Derrick Rose didn't win it. 6 of them, huh, Tom?
6 of them. Yeah, you got Wiggins
in the last 25 years.
The last 25 first overall picks. So my point of all this is, in the last 25 years, the last 25 players, it's more misses than hits in terms of Finals MVP, MVPs, NBA championships. That's all I'm saying. So, am I saying Victor's going to be a bust? No. Am I saying he's going to be the next LeBron James? Well,
you're asking a lot, yo.
Statistics say probably not. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
You're asking a lot.
Yeah, Kyrie, Wiggins, LeBron. Like, that's 3 of the 6 that have won. But like, Kyrie was the number 2. Wiggins was probably the second best player on those Warriors. But again,
yeah,
you know, it's pretty. It's tough, man. It's tougher than people think.
It's thin. It is thin.
It's competent to even like put stock into what
it is thin. Yes, it is. It's really thin. 100% is thin.
That's why when I was doing my other podcast I was asked if you had to decide on taking Scooter Wemby over like 5-year period, who would you take? And we've talked about this so many times. Like with Victor, it's just
you have to take Victor number 1. You have to,
but
because you never want to be the guy or the girl.
Could
you imagine you don't pick him number 1 and he goes?
He turns into Tim Duncan.
He turns into
it's worth the loss than if you don't.
Yeah, you have to take him. You have to take him.
Yeah.
I'm never getting another job anywhere.
Never.
No, you're done. You're banned.
You go past
I hope you like working at Costco because you're finished.
That's because I'm in fact that's how the interview is starting. You're the guy who passed on Wemby. Yes, I'm the one. Okay, take care.
Here's why.
No excuse.
Sorry, I can't hear you. I'm sorry. You can go. There you go. Goodbye.
You definitely don't want to be in that position. But another question I had for you guys.
Davis
So
too.
AD,
it was AD, Kyrie, LeBron, Wiggins.
I'm just thinking off the top of my head, and
I could probably just do this. Who were the last 25 first overall picks?
Somebody said Dwight and Bogut. That's 6.
Oh, Dwight Howard. Yeah, Dwight Howard and Bogut. There you go.
Bogut. There you go.
Yeah, so it's okay. Here they are. Ant, no. Zion, no. Ayton. Oh my God, Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons. Oh my God, that's horrible. Cat. So then Wiggins, Bennett. Oh, Bennett. John Wall, Blake Griffin, Derrick Rose, Odin, Andrea Bargnani, Bogut. Yeah, so we said Bogut, Dwight Howard.
You really hard on Bargnani. You know, he had a season where he averaged like almost 25 a game.
Cool.
I just want to make sure you put on that. That's all.
Was that in New York?
I think it was in Toronto.
Was it? No, he never averaged 25.
I think he averaged almost 25 a game one season.
No way. Was that in Italy?
No, it was in the NBA, Tone. I'm almost certain that he had one of those seasons.
Now you're making me skip the first overall picks to go check this. Now
you're more fluent.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm more fluent.
All right, his
highest was in Toronto in 2010-11. So that was the year that Bosch left and went to Miami. So he became kind of the guy, and he averaged 21.
Okay, 21. I'm sorry, I said 25.
5 rebounds.
I kind of oversold it. Mm-hmm.
21 points and 5 rebounds on 45%, on 45, 35, and 82 shooting, and less than 2 assists, half a steal, less than 1 block. Oh, but he got 2.3 turnovers that year too. Yeah, no. Sorry. No. Okay, so where were we? We had Bogut, Dwight Howard, LeBron. So that's 3 in a row that all won, but obviously they won it. You know, they played different roles in those championship wins. Kenyon Martin, Elton Brand, and then that takes us to there you go. So maybe was there 6? 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyways,
Okay.
It was sick.
All right, let's move on to this next topic.
Why am
Okay,
I
so
so hard on Bargnani? Go watch him
basically-
play. That's why I'm so hard on Bargnani.
so basically, we obviously heard some news about Zion over the last couple days. Literally within a 24-hour span, we heard about he was gonna have a little baby, and then we hear something about maybe some other side things going on.
Another little baby.
Yeah, the possibility is there. Yes, Baba G Cuts, thanks for coming in clutch. Zion got a third stripper pregnant, just reported. So,
well, he has a type.
Definitely has a type, and he's able to do things off court, but not on the court. Which it just kind of like say what you want, like your relationship drama is your own, but at the same time, you can show up for whatever's going on over here, but you can't show up for your teammates, for the fans and all that. And then there's also discussions, obviously, of what's going on with Ja Morant, all this chaos. And it just makes me think, this 2019 draft class is in chaos right now, literally in shambles. Like, what happened to this group of dudes to make them all kind of just trip out? So I want to read some of the guys. I'm going to read the top 10 picks from the first round in 2019. And let's talk about those guys. Let's see where they're at right now. And then we'll go from there. So obviously Zion was number 1. Okay. Ja Morant was number 2. RJ Barrett was number 3. Lakers was DeAndre Hunter, officially traded to the Hawks. Cavs had Darius Garland.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a great. I didn't realize he was 28. Okay. And then Suns had Jarrett Culver, who was swapped over to the Timberwolves. Bulls got Kobe White. Hawks draft Jackson Hayes, who is on the Pels now. Wizards draft Rui. Okay, so he's part of that.
He should have gone number 1.
Yeah, for real. Look at him. And then at 10 was Hawks draft Cam Reddish. So that's kind of what we're working with. And honestly, looking back now, like a lot of those guys haven't been extremely impressive.
Now, don't just say Cam Reddish, because anytime you say Cam Reddish's name, you have to say Hawks got Cam Reddish and Trae Young.
Yes, they did.
For Luka.
Yeah.
Would you if the Hawks offered you Cam Reddish and Trae now, would you trade them back? What are you thinking about it? What are you liar?
No.
So here's the thing. I'm done talking about water gun jaw wick. And with Zion, I gotta be honest. I gotta, and I said this earlier on the panel. Like, my issue with Zion is him not playing. If he's healthy to play, I want him to play. If he's not healthy to play, then fine. What he does with who and how and where they do their things, I was gonna say something rude. I won't. That's his business. I don't care. Like, no one cares. No one, like,
yeah.
Like,
the only reason why this is a topic is discussion, Tony, because he's not on the floor.
That's the only reason why. An issue. Exactly.
If he was on the floor and he was
COVID for that draft class, I blame COVID.
If he was on the floor and he was kicking ass, if he was on the floor and he was kicking ass, we wouldn't be having this conversation, because there's plenty of guys in the NBA that are doing questionable things, but their game speaks for them. But when you have a guy like Zion, who he's got conditioning issues. Not only does he have conditioning issues, we have issues about him playing because he's had injury issues, and then tells us, I will step on the court when I feel like Zion. I'm 99%, but I'll step on the court when I feel like Zion. So when we have stuff like that going on, this other stuff is going to get magnified. Of course it is. If Zion was playing if Zion is playing the way he's been playing before he got hurt, so I think he was something like 26 and 7 and like 4 assists. And he was a plus almost every game that he played. If them 24 games that he played were 64 games, this would not be a conversation. Because number one, the Pelicans would have been in the playoffs. So this would be something that would be a blip on the radar. We wouldn't be talking about this. His draft stock, not draft stock, but his trade stock would be a lot higher. I don't even think they'd be entertaining trading him. But because he's got this nonsense going on and all this other issues about him not being able to be on the floor, of course this stuff is going to get magnified. Now, as far as Ja, as of right now, and I don't want to sound wishy-washy, Tone. I don't want to sound that I'm in, I'm out. I feel like I should be out on Ja. I really do. I really feel like I should be out on this guy. And the reason why I feel like I should be out on him is because on the one hand, you could tell me, he's just a kid. He's a country bumpkin. He doesn't really know much. But we just finished year 5. Yeah. Okay? And you already know how I feel about guys in year 5, Tone. So we just finished year 5. This guy knows right from wrong. He's an adult. And even though he's a young adult, he's an adult. And this stuff that he's doing is inexcusable for somebody, not just his age, but somebody of his caliber. The people that he's responsible for and the things that he could do for people in his family where he can create generational wealth. And on top of that, being a great basketball player, and he's screwing it up because he wants to run the streets and be involved with people that he probably shouldn't. I feel like I should be out on him. I do.
So I agree with you 100% on Ja. I'm with you. I want to go back to the Zion thing. And again, because I want to really hit this home from earlier today that we talked about it. And again, because he's not playing. Do you remember Calvin Murphy?
I do remember Calvin Murphy.
Houston Rockets, right? Okay.
Yeah.
What do you know about his personal life?
I know that he, if I'm not mistaken, I think he had like 5 kids by 5 different chicks, some nonsense like that.
He has 14 children from 9 different women.
Yeah.
Nick Cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Do we?
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Nick Cannon got 37 children from like 92 different women.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think it's, Jason Caffey, remember him from the Bulls? He got 10 kids. Willie Anderson has 9 kids from 7 different women. Sean has 7 kids from
Dwight Howard.
Yeah, there's so many.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's only a thing. It's only a thing because he's not playing.
That's
if he was out there playing, I just, and that's why, and let's be honest, Calvin Murphy didn't have to deal with social media, right? Calvin Murphy didn't have to deal with one of his baby mamas going on Twitter and being like, look at all the stuff we did. This guy's, look how nasty he is. Okay, so it's okay.
Yeah.
I just, like, here's what I say to Zion: get in shape, get on the damn court. That's all. You can't bring up Phillip Rivers because Phillip Rivers has a million kids with one woman.
Yeah,
that's it. That's it.
It's a family,
right?
They're like Mormons. They're like, right.
And it's also tough too, Tone, when you got to watch Zion tell you that he's 99% and he's not gonna get on the floor.
99%. You should be playing.
Well, not only that, Tone, especially when you see him in workouts doing stand-up windmills in workouts, and you're thinking to yourself, why aren't you playing? What is the problem?
Well, don't you remember? But I'll say 2 things. Sorry, go ahead, Hailey. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, remember when that discussion with like his uncle or his dad or whatever authority is in his life, and they were like, he was the one saying like, we're not letting Zion play, even though doctors had basically said he's ready to go. It's their decision, and I don't get how you can just decide I'm not going to if you've been cleared by doctors.
Now, on the one hand, when you say that, San Antonio did the same thing with Kawhi Leonard, and you know your body better than anybody.
Yeah.
And that's where I was going to go. So I have 2 things on Zion. If he is 99%, one, his body might be 99%, but anyone who's had an injury, myself included, because I know what that's like, it's the mental piece. Like I am telling you, I never was fully healed, but I'm at a point, 20 years later where I'm still, like even now, 30 years later, when I'm playing in my men's, I still kind of am very hesitant to jump. Right, because the way I landed, the way I got hurt, and it's still in my head. Like, don't jump because you're too old to get hurt again. Right. And a better example than me, because who the hell am I? A better example, Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose was 100% healthy, and we saw him in workouts. He looked just as explosive as he ever did. Right, and they're like, why isn't he playing? And I think he actually admitted it. He goes, it's my head. Like I can't. So if that's the case, then I completely understand Zion. I completely get it.
Right.
The other one that I don't necessarily like as much, but could also be true, he don't want to play there. He don't want to be there. He don't want to be in New Orleans. And now this is a terrible way to deal with it. Yeah. But he don't want to be there.
Yeah. I'm sure it's a mixture.
Now I think this would have come out. I think this would have come out publicly, but he might be saying, trade me, or I'm not playing. And they're saying, we're not trading you, so you better play. They could be having a standoff like that. They could, but I think that would have become public by now.
And how do you like find place to do that when you've barely played in the league? I forget. There's crazy stats about how many games.
Who've never played have said I refuse to play in certain places. So that's not crazy.
Yeah,
Right.
I guess. I just think that's at some point it's like you have a great situation. I think those guys are. I don't know. I just don't.
Here goes Angie again. Well, we'll save them later. On the panel, she gave a bunch of.
Oh no!
Zion drops the hammer.
Yeah, I've seen these have been going all around. Yeah. Okay, let's do some super chats.
Yeah, some super chats. Yeah, sure. And then we're gonna get to the topic of the day. All right.
And then we'll get to the topic. Yeah.
All right. So let's start with your favorite. With
Angie, sup fam. Panel and OC was ridiculous but funny.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
I didn't watch Open Court. I heard they get busy over there though.
Panel, well, his panel and OC was ridiculously funny. Okay, I didn't see OC. Panel was hilarious today. I will say that for sure.
Yeah, there's been some good shows on recently, you guys. Shout out to Player's Choice. B the G. Do y'all think AD should lose weight and go back to the 4? That was when he was most successful. I think he should. He was moving quick. Lose weight? Is he?
No, he bulked up.
Didn't he just grow?
I don't know that. I think he just matured into his body as you get older. And listen, he wants to play the 4. It's just that in today's NBA, he is much better suited to play the 5. I don't think him dropping weight will make him any quicker at this point in his career, personally.
I'm still pissed he didn't make the All-League defensive team and the All-NBA team. I'm pissed about that because he definitely was an All-Pro this year. And I'm pissed that he didn't make the All-NBA team. We talking about a dude who had a stretch where he was the best defensive player in the league. And the Lakers had the best defensive team.
Yeah, but he only played like 17 games.
Play enough. Yeah.
He played plenty. Not only did
this year.
Okay, if I'm not mistaken, Anthony Davis played 57 games this year. I think he played 57 games this year. Just so you know, Tone. I just want to put this on your mind, Tone. Rudy Gobert won the Defensive Player of the Year in 2018. Played 55 games that year. 55. Kawhi Leonard in 2019. I believe he was first team all defense in 2019. Kawhi played 55 games that year? So the logic that Anthony Davis doesn't play as much, that's nonsense.
Especially for that. Yeah.
You're right. He played 56 games. So
56
you're
games.
Right. Because Scottie Pippen only played 44.
44 games.
What was it, 97 or 98? And he made first team All-NBA.
Okay. Who made it this year, Jay? Who made it this year?
The All-League defensive team. I believe the first team was Alex Caruso, Drew Holiday, who were the guard? I mean, who was the
Smart? Marcus Smart. Oh, Sabonis.
Not Marcus Smart.
No way. Sabonis made all defensive.
Jaren Jackson
Jr. was on the crew. Who else am I thinking about? That was who else was on that crew?
Kawhi didn't get on there, did he?
No limit. Okay. Those are the 3 guys that I remember off the top of my head. But what I do know for a fact is in my opinion, yes, Bam was on that team too.
Bam.
In my opinion, Anthony Davis should have been an All-League defender this year, and I can't get legit logic on why he was not.
So first team this year: Jaren Jackson, Brooke Lopez, Evan Mobley.
I'm good with Evan Mobley. I'm straight with Evan Mobley on being on the All-League defensive team. I got no problem with that. I thought he was the defensive player of the year.
Second team: Bam, OG Anunoby, Draymond.
Somebody got to come off. One of them 2 dudes, OG or Draymond, one of them dudes got to come off because Anthony Davis should be on that team. One of them guys got to come off. Pick one.
Yeah. Okay, Angie, when you're that dude, it sometimes comes with an ego that makes you allergic to compromise and can bite you in the ass when you're trying to win.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that was kind of the question I had for you guys. Like, that's a great point, Angie, because now that that's a reason I haven't loved Phoenix. I've watched them for years. Obviously, my family's from there. I'm originally from there. I don't like the Suns. I haven't for a while. But Chris Paul changed that culture in some good ways, obviously, and in some bad ways. And so what is that culture going to look like without that kind of that dude energy there? Do you think it could shift to something good, like with Devin, KD? Or do you think it could get out of control?
I don't know if it's going to go back to what it was before he got there, because I don't think he's been there. He wasn't there that long. He only been there for 3 years, right? So it wasn't like he's been there for 7-8 years.
Yeah.
But the question that not the question, but the point that I want to make is at some point you still have to accept who you are. So Chris Paul has to know, yo, I'm not 25 anymore. I'm not 30 years old anymore. I don't have what I used to have. And because I don't have what I used to have, I can't do what I used to be able to do. So I can't expect to be a starter on a championship team and play a major role like I would have 4 years ago, like I would have 3 years ago when I was on that Phoenix team. I can't expect to do that. The reason why I can't expect to do that is because I don't have what I used to have. I just don't have it like that anymore.
Yeah.
With Chris Paul's imminent departure, and we're leaving it a team now in Phoenix with a new coach, with two really, really, really good, great offensive players, and no defense. Is this Brooklyn Nets 2.0?
I think Vogel's going to change that. I do. And the reason why I think Vogel's going to change that is for one reason, Tone. And it's the reason where it's not contradictory, but it's not contradictory, but it was something that I've been balking for a long time, but I think that's going to change. I think he's going to get on the Deandre Ayton train. He turned Roy Hibbert into an all-star. I think.
Oh, you think they're because Ayton is?
Yeah,
he's got fired. Everyone said he's traded.
I think Vogel's going to get on the Deandre Ayton train.
Really?
I think he's going to turn that guy into what he saw. Well, remember he made Roy Hibbert an all-star in Indiana. This is the Roy Hibbert who didn't really do much. I mean, I watched him in 2014 in the playoffs, and he was completely and utterly ineffective.
So you think he's going to get a facilitating point guard to give KD, Book, and get Ayton going offensively, so that he'll play some defense.
And I think that he'll get him. I think that he could get him to that level. Where,
you think he'll tell him, hey, I look at you as like another AD, and I want you to play defense like AD plays defense.
I don't know if he's going to go that far, but I do think
tell him to boost him up.
I do think that when he walked in the door with the Phoenix Suns, I think he made a beeline to Ayton to let him know that, yo, you're my guy. I would not be surprised if he was feeling him right from the beginning, considering what he's done with big guys in the past and the defensive teams that he's had in the past with the Indiana Pacers, with David West, and with Roy Hibbert, the rim protector that Roy Hibbert was. So I think he's looking at DeAndre Ayton like that, and knowing how DeAndre Ayton would be if he played in an offense where they involved him more, as opposed to him just being out there. And don't get me wrong, Tony, I have said in the past how soft I think he could be sometimes. Yeah. But when you get a guy in a coach like Vogel, who's got championship experience, who's coached a championship team, who's been at that level a few times, to get behind you and go, yo, I'm with you. I mean, that's a vote of confidence, and that'll get a guy to play a little bit harder. Not just play a little bit harder. You might get a lot more out of him than you did before.
Okay, Cody, yo, Fluent Chill and H. I love the show. It helps me get through nights at work. Anyways, I was wondering what you think the biggest shot ever was.
The biggest shot ever was. I think I know where you're going with this, Cody, and I'm gonna put it out there. I think you going with Ray Allen's shot in the finals.
Do you know Cody? Is that why?
I don't, but this sounds like this is this sounds like this is going somewhere. But the biggest shot ever. Wow, the biggest shot ever. Man, that's
pick one.
Yeah, to pick one shot, man. To pick one shot is huge. One shot. Now, when I think about one shot, Tone, I'm thinking about like this was monumental. Ray Allen hits that three. If he misses that and they lose in the finals, that would be twice in 3 years that they lost in the NBA finals. That team probably gets broken up. And in the process of that team getting broken up,
so it was a pretty big shot.
It would be considered a failure. I don't know if that shot is bigger than Robert Horry when he cracked the three against the Sacramento Kings, though.
Well, I'll tell you this. I think Derek Fisher has a shot for the Lakers that was pretty big.
Yes.
And this is why I say it's so hard to say biggest shot ever, because Jordan's game 5 shot versus Cleveland. That was a series winner. Obviously, is this the dagger from Kawhi game 7 to knock out the 76ers, who probably, if that doesn't go in, the Sixers win in overtime, they probably go on and win a title. That changes the course of the NBA history.
Right.
So there's a lot of big shots. So you probably want to do it from franchise to franchise, but I'll stick with
Magic with the junior
the Magic. That was the
Skyhook.
next one I was gonna say. I'm gonna stick with Magic and that little
Magic with the junior
junior Skyhook. I'll go with that one. That one.
Magic with the junior Skyhook. Yeah.
All right. Haley will be back momentarily.
It would have been Jordan. It would have been Jordan if he would have quit after that, Tone.
Oh, in Utah. Oh,
If he would have quit after that, it would have been Jordan, and it wouldn't have been close.
Okay.
Yeah.
You should have
settled on Magic. Okay.
And Jordan's in Utah. I didn't know if you were ready, but I saw you were on camera, so I brought you back on.
No, you're good. Sorry, I had to step away for a second.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, drink more water. Fluent as a Raptor affiliate. How good are Adrian Griffin and Patrick Mutombo as coaches? The Bucks are really overhauling their coaching staff.
So I've said this already when the Bucks hired. Actually, when I heard they were interviewing Adrian Griffin, I said he is a great hire. Actually, I kind of thought the Raptors might promote him internally. Great defensive-minded coach, open to offensive plays, really good with players. Every single player has nothing but good things to say about him. He's also a former NBA player who was like a dirty work defensive kind of guy too. So those coaches always tend to do well. Patrick Mutombo, I don't know as well because he was on, I believe, the Phoenix Suns staff, but I had put his name out there as he was a guy that was getting looks as a head coach. So obviously he didn't get enough of them. So he's now signed on with the Bucks. So I think that's a great hire to come onto that staff with the Bucks. So the Bucks coaching staff for me is looking really good. I don't know who else they've hired, but those two for sure. I'm 100% on board with them. I think they make any team better from a coaching perspective, with the exception of the Pops and the Spos of the world. But yeah, I think that's definitely good for them. Bring in young from a coach's perspective who are going to have some fresh ideas and are defensive minded, which I think suits Giannis and Brook Lopez, who was a first team all NBA defense, and Holiday. Chris Middleton might be the odd man out this year, guys. Look for them to maybe make a move there. But yeah, definitely like those coaching changes.
Yeah. All right, Huncho, Chilltown. How are you going to co-sign tickets saying a healthy Clippers team would beat Denver after getting walked down by a worst Jokic and Murray?
How am I going to co-sign saying a healthy Clippers
today on the panel? You actually, I think you said it, or the ticket said it. I think he co-signed on what you said. I don't think
that's crazy to say either.
First of all, Honcho, if Leonard doesn't get hurt, they beat Phoenix. I think that I do think that they beat Phoenix. The way Leonard was playing, I think that they beat Phoenix if he doesn't get hurt. Now, would they beat Denver? I think they got I think they got just as good a shot.
Yeah.
I think they got just as good a shot. But after getting walked down by a worse Joker and Murray, I mean, I don't know that. I don't know.
The Clippers this year didn't win. Obviously, they got to be healthy, but they weren't healthy. But healthy without Russell Westbrook, they have a chance of beating anybody.
Even if Russell was on that crew.
No. I refuse to. No.
Hold on, I'm telling you, man. You didn't give Russ nearly enough credit.
Yes, Russ. No.
You didn't give Russ nearly enough credit.
They were fantastic with Kawhi. I mean, they still had a shot if Kawhi had continued playing. That was without Paul George. Yeah. So I think that if they were fully healthy, when you added Norman Powell, Robert Covington, like all those dudes, like they're a good team. They're cursed, man. They're cursed. That franchise is not.
They need to get rid of. They would need to be super healthy, playing their absolute best, and they would have to get rid of Russ and get some type of big men to help them with Jokic, because Jokic would who cares? It's not a guard issue. They've got no one who can even, no one's stopping Jokic, but at least make his life a little bit difficult. They got nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Double P, I would say Boston is the best fit for CP3. Speaking of best fit, which team is the best fit for DeAndre Hopkins? That is realistic.
Oh, you're gonna kill me with this. I'm out on DeAndre Hopkins.
What?
Why?
I'm out.
Why?
What did he do? Why?
I think that his best years, until he shows me something different, I'm out on him.
What?
Yeah, I'm out on DeAndre.
Wasn't he just injured?
When
he was healthy, the last time we saw him healthy, he was fantastic.
Top five wide receiver. But
so how are you just out?
Here's my question, Tone.
PED suspension and a little injury.
The PED suspension. So over the last 2 years, this is what we've dealt with from him: injuries. And you know in football you have a very short shelf life.
Yeah.
And DeAndre Hopkins is in what year? What are we in now, Tone? Year 8? I think.
Might be
year 8 or year 9. And I think that we're looking at DeAndre Hopkins like we look at Stephon Diggs, and we're looking at DeAndre Hopkins.
He loves Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Right. And here's the thing: we're looking at him like that from 2 years ago. Is he still that same dude?
Still that guy? Okay.
I'm not sure that he is. I'm not sure that he is.
All right. So I disagree. I'd love to see him on the Bears, but he's not going there. But from a money standpoint, we do have the most salary cap, so we could give him the most. But here's the two things I think for DeAndre Hopkins. If he's going for the money, I actually believe this rumor that he might just go back to Houston because he just loves Houston. That's kind of where he wants to be. So if it's a money thing, because they can also give him the money he's going to want. From a fit perspective,
Cleveland.
It's Cleveland, and I was going to save that that was going to be my coup. Thanks.
Sorry.
I was going to say, I think the Jets, but where I think he's going to end up is Cleveland, because I think reuniting with Deshaun Watson, that's where he had his most success. That's when Deshaun had his most success. The one thing about Deshaun Watson last year, we knew he was rusty. We knew he hadn't played in 2 years. He was also going to a new system with a new team, with wide receivers he's never played with before. And even the guys that he has now, okay, he's played with them a little bit. There isn't that chemistry. I think they would have instant chemistry. And what we've seen, and we know every league is a copycat league, we've seen the Bengals unite Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, which worked out phenomenally. We saw the Raiders try to reunite Derek Carr and Devontae Adams. That worked horribly. And so there's a thing about reuniting guys. And so I think Cleveland's I think he steps onto that Cleveland offense, and it's like they were never apart. I just feel like they're just like, wow. And then imagine that receiving core with him and Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore.
I would very much like to be proven wrong, because I dug Deion. I love
DeAndre Hopkins.
I definitely dug him. I 100% want to be proven wrong, because as of right now, I'm out on him.
I feel like it can't be, because he didn't play last season, or didn't he play like a few games?
Yeah.
He didn't play at all.
He missed 6 games to start the season.
Yeah, so I feel like, I don't know, and it's Arizona, that's just not.
In pro football, as an elite wide receiver, you got a shelf life of 6, 7 elite years, especially when you're elite. And when you miss seasons, that's taking years off your football life.
Yeah.
So with a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, who's not that big, right? He ain't, when I'm thinking about Calvin, he ain't Megatron big, right? He ain't Randy Moss big. He's not T.O. big. So with that being said,
great hands and such a big patch radius.
Yes, that part I'm not fighting. I'm thinking about the 2 years of what I've seen over the last 2 years. Can he get that back? I don't know, man. I might have to be out on him.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes open for him.
Yep.
Sports PSP. Which player would you rather have, Zion or Ja?
At least I know, even though Zion is injured, at least I know that at some point, I do. At some point, I'm gonna get him on the floor. I don't know how much. I don't know how long I'm gonna have him on the floor, but at some point, I'm gonna get him on the floor. Ja, on the other hand, I don't even know if he's gonna be around.
We don't know.
I might turn on the television and find out that he got involved in some nonsense.
Oh, stop!
I might find out that he got into some tone. There's a reason why you are out on him. The reason why you are out on him, Tone,
my
is because
second favorite player in the NBA, by the way.
And you are out on him, Tone. You have had it with Ja Morant, and there's a reason why you've had it with him, because what he's shown you has nothing to do with his game. Nothing. Everything that he's shown you has to do with the type of dude he is, and that's not helping.
I also go Zion, but I go Zion for different reasons. I go Zion because you can't fix stupid. An injury can heal. You can't fix stupid.
You just can't, yo. You cannot.
Early prediction, will Ja be a Grizzly next season, despite what happens, or will the Grizzlies move away from him totally?
Well, what do you count a guy who's suspended for like 60 games? Because that's what he's getting. Because don't forget, we're all glossing over because the NBA says we don't want to talk about it until after the finals. We don't want to, and they shouldn't take away from what's going on with the finals.
Right.
They said they got more stuff on him.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what it is, but it's got to be pretty big if they feel it's going to overshadow the NBA finals. So he could be gone 60. He might be gone he might miss the whole season.
When you use the phrases like our further investigation shows,
that's scary.
So that means that we've been doing our homework, and there was some stuff that you left out.
So you know what?
Congratulations to the Miami Heat. Bam Adebayo finals MVP, Heat in 6. Just so you know, Ja Morant has been suspended for 164 games for.
Have they ever suspended a player for an entire season?
Yeah, Ron Artest started a riot.
Oh yeah. Who's the most recent? Is it Ron?
I didn't think Ron Artest was even ever be allowed to play again.
Oh, he played 10 more years.
Times.
I know.
If it was now, I bet he wouldn't be.
That's how great the union is. He started a riot.
Well, hold on. Whoa. I'm not going to let you do that. He didn't start the riot.
Tony, if he doesn't go up, okay.
If Ben Wallace doesn't act
all right. Ben Wallace started this whole thing.
Ben Wallace
started this whole thing.
An idiot in the crowd doesn't throw a drink when he's just chilling there on the scorer's table.
Right.
Okay. Now
he
finished the riot.
He incited a riot. He started a riot. He incited a riot.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Okay, how about that? He incited a riot.
That's fair.
He played 10 more years after that. So that tells you how good, number one, the NBA union is. Number two,
could you imagine being in a business? Just Hailey used to work at Nike, right? Yeah. Could you imagine you're at Nike and someone from the public comes in and does something dumb and you just go over and just start like you're never working there again. You're done.
And by the way, H, after you jumped on him, what you incited was everybody else in
everybody else started.
Like, I wish you could do that to shoplifters, but no, you just have to
whoop your ass. And I've always wanted to fight you. I've always wanted to beat you up. And next thing you know, H, you got a whole riot going on.
Worth it.
Good job.
Just kidding.
But then you end up keeping your job at Nike, and you end up working there for 10 more years after that. They promote you.
That's crazy. I love it.
Let's go. The NBA. Okay. Rollin Curtis, hypothetical situation where you get $5 billion if your prediction is correct. In 10 years, will the GOAT debate be with MJ versus Victor Wembanyama, MJ versus LeBron, or MJ versus Victor Wembanyama versus LeBron James? So basically, will Victor be in the GOAT conversation in 10 years?
No, I don't think he's going to be in the GOAT conversation in 10 years. I
don't think so.
No, I don't think he'll be in the NBA in 10 years.
I do. I do think he'll be. I think San Antonio is going to take good care of him.
You're so skeptical, Floyd.
So I don't think. I've been
fool me once. Shame,
yeah, I know. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Fool me twice. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yep.
Fool me 3 times, F the peace song. Call the cops, choppers, let them rain on you.
There you go. FIFA boy. Oh, here we go. Fluent Chill. How much would you charge me to teach me on how to Riz?
How much would you
charge me to teach me on how to? How much would we charge to teach you? I still don't even know what Riz is. So.
Game. It's like game.
Oh.
Who is better game? And he needs help on how to Riz.
I don't know if I'm all that. I don't know.
You know me. I put all mine into the
somebody.
Shack, FIFA boy.
I put all my message Shack. He'll give you some. I put all my efforts into a girl I knew since I was 4 years old. So
my grandmother told me
that's top tier Riz right there.
My grandmother gave me some advice, and I'll never forget it for as long as I live. She told me when I was a kid. She said, "Find out what she likes, do that. Find out what she doesn't like, don't do that."
Yeah, that's some good advice.
That's all you gotta do.
Mine
just-
said lie, and don't get caught. No,
and from a girl, I would just say, be confident, work on yourself first, and you'll attract it. You know,
work
you
on
gotta put
yourself
time into-
first. That's actually
Yeah,
that's
you gotta
the
look
best
good,
advice.
get your money in order, and yeah.
Do a little Dion. Look good, feel good, play
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, there you
Play
go.
good, get
There you
paid
go.
good.
Get paid good.
Fluent and Riz. All right, Alan R. So what you're telling me is LeBron's a GOAT.
Alan,
Yes, Alan.
Alan is
Yes,
a
we
troll,
are.
by the way.
I don't.
Alan is definitely a troll.
I don't know what that was based on, but no.
That's
Were we talking about something? Did we bring up LeBron?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
His rent, his tone. I've said this 1,000
Rent-free?
times. Rent free in the most expensive, in the penthouse space. That's where he lives.
Oh. Okay. Tony, what do y'all think of the 05-06 Suns needed to win it?
I told Shaq, and he got on me about this. I told Shaq, I said, "Yo, they would have smoked y'all. If y'all would have seen them in the finals, I think they would have smoked y'all.
So
I
they
think
just
would.
needed better matchups? Like
That's it.
Yeah.
I think
a different bracket, they were there.
What are you talking about? Phoenix couldn't do nothing. I think they would have ran y'all out the arena. That's what I think would have happened. I 100% believe they would have ran y'all out the arena. They would have just kept running and kept running and kept running until they couldn't run anymore. I think they would have beat y'all.
Interesting. So they just needed better matchups. Okay, I like it.
Yep.
I'll take your word for that.
Angie, the 2019 class poses a threat to the CBA
Moving forward? Maybe.
Yeah.
That COVID class was just they toxic.
It got
Rocky.
tricky. It got tricky quick too, Tone.
It did.
Like that wasn't that long. That's 4 years ago. That's not that long ago.
Mhm.
Feels like forever, but yeah, it wasn't long ago. All right, Rello 555. Unpopular opinion: Rick Barry, top 5 small forward of all time.
Top 10, yes. 100%.
Okay, hold on.
Let's do top 5 then.
What do we
Okay.
got? We got
And-
Bird, LeBron.
Nope. KD.
I'm trying to
Nope.
think. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
KD.
KD.
Nope. Mhm.
Brandon Ingram's in my top 5.
Stop it.
All time.
All
Doc.
time.
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm. Doc.
already there for me.
No. Doc.
Oh
no.
yeah, Doc.
Scottie
Dom-
Pippen.
is he better
No.
Is he better
No.
than me?
No. Havlicek. No.
No,
Elgin
yeah,
Baylor. No.
Oh,
Yeah,
Elgin.
No.
Oh, how did I forget Elgin Baylor? Jeez, I'm sorry, Elgin.
No. So no.
Yeah. So no, yeah.
No. Mm-mm.
Top,
He wasn't
top
better than
10?
none of
Does he
them
make it
dudes.
into the top 10?
I think
Maybe
you can
he
make an
is 10.
argument. I think you can make an argument for Rick Barry being a top 10, maybe top 10. Like I don't think he was better than Carmelo Anthony.
I'll give him anyone that has the cojones to do the grandma free throw. I'll give him number 10. I'll give him number
Shot the highest free throw percentage in NBA history when he did it.
10. Yeah,
Big
listen.
time.
Retired with the highest free throw
Yeah,
percentage. in
when he
NBA
retired, he was number 1. I Curry's over him now, I believe, if not anybody
In
else.
fact,
for sure.
so the year that the mythical creature of Mount Olympus named Wilt Chamberlain shot his highest free throw percentage the year he did what?
Yeah, but tell
Yes,
them
sir.
what that percentage was. Tell them what that percentage was.
It was 62%.
Yeah, exactly.
It was
He
62%.
Well,
That's the only reason I believe he was real, because he stunk at something.
yeah, there was one thing.
Although I do have. I'm gonna post this on TikTok with a little commentary later.
Mhm.
But I have like some footage, and there's a conspiracy, if you guys don't know, that the media does, where they try to show you everything from certain eras in black and white, so that you think it was like a really, really long time ago. Like, white supremacists will show you like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and everything
Yeah.
they show you is in black and white to make you think that it wasn't the damn 60s, right?
Right.
Speaking of the 60s, there's a ton of color of Wilt Chamberlain
Yep.
with putbacks, with watch this, these fadeaways. Okay, that wasn't it, but he's got this fadeaway jumper off, like, and he banks it off the backboard. It's coming up.
Hold
So I'm
on.
going to do a little commentary of it, but it's all
Yeah,
look at that
right there.
fadeaway.
That's good
Yeah.
video. That might be the cleanest I've ever seen of him.
Yeah. So they try to make you think like he's this mythical creature from like the 1920s. Dude was playing. There was color video. Like it is.
Wait. Hold on, H. Are we saying that Chamberlain existed?
I was gonna say Fluent. No,
No,
there's
I think it
do
was
you think
created
that
by
was
Wait, which
software?
one is it,
AI.
Tom?
That's
'Cause
AI.
I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Chat,
AI before AI.
Chat
Right.
GPT
Okay. All
and
right.
that AI technology. Listen, I typed in "show the Pope riding on the roof of a car," and I got a picture of the Pope surfboarding on the top of a car. Anything is possible. Anything is possible.
Yeah, these days it's scary.
Yeah.
All right, Angie.
Oh, I think we
Zion
said
drops
this
the
one.
hammer, just not on the court. Word.
Okay, Jesus. Thank you, Angie. Jeez.
Chilltown. You want to know why I'm upset most of the time? In all caps. Zion and Ja. They really trying. Oh yeah, they're really trying me right now.
Hey man,
True.
hey, Leaf,
Agreed.
B. I don't know what to tell you, B. These young dudes, the era of social media has really screwed up a lot of people. You know, we live in a wild country right now, and people think that it's just wild right now. Just so you know, it was just as wild 40 years ago. It's just everybody on TV now, and everybody wants to be on TV even more. So dudes like Ja, dudes like Zion, who have an opportunity to set up their families forever. I mean, Ja in particular, Zion not so much, but Ja in particular, I'm good on Ja. I'm straight.
You know what's interesting? I was asking my grandpa about that because sometimes, like, with not gonna get into politics, but just like everything kind of feels like, especially being young, everything feels just jumbled. Like we're hearing everyone has an opinion. Everyone, Fluent. You guys both have kids, I know. So I just couldn't imagine raising kids in this climate. But also, what he said, he's like, our country is very young, so it's normal for some of the things that we're starting to go through. Like that's just part of like being in a country, especially when that's young. So I'm wondering if all the social media and just hearing everybody's opinions. I think if you're in a high place, don't get off social media or block accounts. Like get off of it as much as you can.
That's so tough though for people that have grown up and never known anything but social media. Like the internet, social media has been the greatest and worst thing at the same time to ever happen to the world because because obviously so much information, so much knowledge. The world has become so small where you know everything. But that's also the problem is people are dumb because like you got guys like I love this guy, Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, except he's like, you don't have to go to school because all you have to do is Google it. And I'm like, no, dummy. Like that's the problem. If all your knowledge is based on a search that can be manipulated by an algorithm, right, that can give you false information because I can Google something and click on the wrong link and get the wrong information. It's out there. I don't know if I'm not smart enough to know, like, don't trust Reddit. Like, if I don't know that, then I'm going to believe what somebody else typed in. Right. So it's the greatest and worst thing ever. But to ask people to not do it, I think is also crazy. Right. And here's the other thing. And again, not to get too political and historical, and we'll get off it really quick because I know the people in the chat are probably like, shut up, Fluent, on your soapbox. But here's the thing. The United States of America, just so you guys know, isn't the center of the universe, isn't the only country in the world, but it's probably the first time in the history of the world where an empire, and that's really what it is, hasn't just crumbled and fallen and been taken over by another one. Like if you think about it, the Roman Empire, the Ottoman Empire, the Greek Empire, the Ming Dynasty, there's been all of these things. And what have they all happened? They've risen to greatness and then crumbled and something else has taken over. Well, now it's just been there. And now it's like, it's really hard. So you're going through this, and people just get old and the empire dies and you don't think about them anymore. Right. Well, now the empire got old. They got old. It didn't crumble, and now it's just young, and it's trying to deal with all those issues that those old people were dealing with, and still dealing. If just be honest, dealing with issues from 400, 500, 600 years ago, where all the mistakes were made, and it's like I don't know how to deal with that. That's 400 years ago. Right. It's tough, man. I'm glad I'm old. I'm glad I feel bad for my kids. I feel bad for my kids.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I'm old. And I don't care. Like when, Shaq, our Shaq from Player's Choice, not the other Shaq, once said to me when we first kind of met, like we were doing like after one of the shows we did, I think the first one we did together, he goes, I like you, Fluent. He goes, because you're at that point in your life where you don't care. People say anything about me, I'm like, I don't care. Like, like,
you can handle it.
I hate you, man. You should die. All right, cool. Have a nice day. High five. Like, whatever. Yeah. So
Derek Jeter said if social media was around when he played for the Yankees, he said he would have been out of the league in 3 years because he was so wild.
Really?
He said he would have been out of the league.
I wish. I wish we could see some of it.
He said he would have been out of the league.
Ridiculous to say that.
Same with Jordan. Think about like what that could have done.
Yeah, I
to
think
his
Jordan
legacy.
said it too. I think Jordan said it too.
He would have not been built for that, right?
No.
He's pretty, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I don't know. Jordan might have been. There might be no debate who the GOAT is because he would have took everything personal. He would have gone out every night and been like, "I'm scoring 80."
Imagine just the Jordan mixtapes that were like so. Yeah, I wish. Okay, double P, Star Bench Cut, Schoolboy Q, ASAP Rocky, Big Sean.
I think ASAP Rocky is dope. I'm a big time ASAP Rocky fan. I think he is dope. I don't really know much about Schoolboy Q.
What's that song? There's like Chipotle. You know that song?
Like Chipotle?
Yeah, I forget what it's called. I love that song.
Anybody that puts my burrito bowl in a song is cut. So
ASAP Rocky
and Schoolboy Q.
Yeah, I'm benching Big Sean and I'm cutting Schoolboy. So.
I'm cutting Big Sean. I'll bench.
You're cutting Big Sean? All right.
Yeah. Angie Carr, Zion never blow leads.
Hey,
Angie, you're the best.
This is what it is, yo. This is what happens. This is what happens, man. This is what you sign up for when you get involved your stuff. When you involve yourself in stuff like this,
there you go.
The internet is undefeated, sir. Undefeated.
Yeah, Kobe, that part. Thank you. That was the one. Okay, Huncho. Y'all just forgot 2020 happened when Big Jokic and Murray hogged down Clippers when healthy. So 3 years today. So 3 years later, and PG and Claw have more injuries.
Like I said both completely healthy and with some bigs to help. So I said they need some more help.
And we saw what happened. We also saw what happened in the bubble. Like Paul George,
the bubble was weird.
He had a difficult time in the bubble. He was dealing with some mental issues, and Doc Rivers was the head coach. So they got number one, they got a different head coach. Number two, I don't think Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are the same players that they were in the bubble 4 years ago. So I can appreciate 2020 happening, my man. What I think you leaving out is the fact that was 4 years ago. Like Joker is better today, right? Jamal Murray is better today. I'd like to think that Kawhi Leonard, when he's healthy,
needs to be smarter.
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard is a lot headier, right? Paul George, he's another one. Russell Westbrook. I'm just looking at this crew and I'm thinking to myself, the way Kawhi Leonard played, he actually got them a game. Had he been able to stay healthy, I think they got a really good shot at beating Phoenix. A really good shot at beating Phoenix.
I agree.
So if they run up on that Denver team, rolling into the playoffs the way that they were rolling, and Paul George was healthy, I can't say with 100% certainty that Denver team beats them. I think they got a real good shot against them. My issue with the Clippers will always be, can these dudes hold up? They've proven over time that they can. That's it.
And at the end of the day, right, it was this hypothetical scenario that if everything fell into place, could the Clippers beat Denver? Sure. But I'll tell you, you know how I feel about the Clippers.
Yeah.
They're never going to be healthy. They're never going to be good. They're always going to lose. Like they're the San Diego Paper Clips they're the Buffalo Braves for a reason. Okay. Damn Clippers. There's enough to talk about the damn Clippers.
Okay, we'll do this super chat and then we'll get on our main topic.
Yep.
We might go over a little bit tonight, but
it's
okay. All right, Sports PSP. Favorite Allen Iverson moment?
When I first saw that crossover, that's my favorite. Of all the things that he's ever done, I saw that crossover for the first time. I saw him hit it. I saw him hit John Starks with that crossover, and I was worried. And the reason why I was worried, Age, because I was trying to become a professional basketball player. And I saw him, and I'm thinking to myself, that looked dangerous. I don't know if I want to get close to that. He looked like he could hurt somebody with that. I don't know if I can handle that.
Yeah. What?
I'm not answering that damn question.
Okay.
Why you use my worst moment in my life and you say that's your favorite moment?
Bringing up bad memories.
You damn well know you really ended my career with that crossover. Took my ankles, threw him in his backpack, and left the gym.
Yeah.
F Allen Iverson. I hate.
He's going this way.
Right.
Tone was going that
my
way.
ankles are still going that way. God damn it. My favorite Allen Iverson moment. Let's be honest. It happened against my own team.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I love when he stepped over Tyler. It was the first time ever in my entire life that I ever cheered for something that someone did against my Lakers. It was the first time I was like, I went nuts. Yeah, that was.
Yeah. Okay, guys, get those likes, please. We want to get this one out. But yeah, let's move on to this new CBA agreement. So
That's what we're talking about?
yeah, wasn't that the topic? Or what was the other one?
No, our headline topic was the greatest duo and get those damn likes up. I think those were the top two. Jokic and Murray. Do you not look at our thumbnails?
The docket.
Is Jamal Murray a legit number 2? But yeah, in Jokic playing at an all-time great pace. But I didn't get greatest duos.
You didn't get that? Here, let me show you.
No.
But keep going. You got to keep talking. Ignore me.
Yeah, well, we can save the CBA for next week. Let's touch on that because we didn't really talk about. Because we haven't really talked much on obviously the Miami Nuggets series. Denver's up, but yeah, it does bring up the conversation of where do we start talking about Jokic all time?
The greatest duo of all time.
Oh my God.
I don't know who said that, and I don't want to know. But even you, Chill, were kind of echoing that somebody's saying that Jamal Murray could be a top 3 point guard of all time. So
not of all time, just in the game today. Just in the game today, a top 3 point guard. Even that's still nuts.
Yeah, absolutely
still nuts
not.
to say that.
Yeah, so talk to me. Fluent, you start us off and talk to me about is Jamal Murray a legit number 2?
Well, yeah, he's the number 2 on a team that's poised. I'm still picking my Heat in 6, but is in the NBA Finals. I've said this. I don't know how many times I've said this, and it's so funny because I still get messages saying, "How come no one gives Denver any respect?" And I keep telling you. And one, I loved my time living in Denver. Shout out to everybody in Denver. This has been the best team all season, since the beginning of the season, middle of the season, the end of the season, in the playoffs. Denver, led by Jokic and Jamal, have been the best team in the NBA. And let me put this into perspective because I said it today and everyone didn't realize that this was the case. Mm-hmm. I know it's only one game, but last night Jamal and Jokic both went for 30-point triple doubles. It wasn't just the first time it happened in an NBA final by teammates. It wasn't just the first time it happened in the playoffs by teammates. It's the first time in NBA history in any game, any way, shape, or form.
So in the 77-year history, Tone, you're telling me that this never happened before? Ever.
Never, ever, ever in the history of basketball have teammates gone 30-point triple doubles in the same game. That's
pretty impressive, yo.
Yeah.
I was about to cuss and say effing historic.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
But I'm not like I'm impressed, but I'm not shocked. I'm actually not shocked that they did it because Jokic can drop a 30-point triple-double any given night. I know that Murray can drop a 30 and 10 any given night. Now I'm impressed that he got the triple-double, but we also know that he stayed in the game late to get that last rebound when he probably should have been out of the game. But that's okay. That's okay. These guys have the potential to be the best duo of this generation because I'm looking at the other duos. LeBron and AD are injured and old. Is KD and Book now a thing? How long is that going to last? Because, KD's also mid to late 30s. Mm-hmm.
We're talking about this next 10 years or the last of
I'm saying, look, unfortunately, Jamal Murray was hurt. But I think they're both in their mid-20s. So over the next 5 to 7 years, okay, who are the top players, and then who is that next person with them, right? Yeah. And when I look up and down, if I go here, it's just easier to do it this way. Jaylen Brown and Tatum, I think we're all saying that they're breaking up. Hold on, let me just go there. Is it DeJounte Murray and
Trae Young.
That's about to be broken up too.
No one's saying anything about them. In Milwaukee, let's be honest, it's Giannis. There isn't really who's that next person. Right. Boston, we talked about. Philadelphia, well, it's Embiid and question mark, right? It was supposed to be Simmons, and then now it's Harden, and so heck, now if Jimmy Butler if they made the right decision, and it could have been Jimmy and Embiid. We might be having a different conversation. In Cleveland, I don't think there's anybody that's whatever. New York, you're right, Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, give me a break. In Brooklyn, we don't know what the hell they're doing. Atlanta, we talked about already. Miami, it's Jimmy Butler and Bam.
Right.
Super nice, but no one's saying for the next 5 years they're going to be the top duo in the league. Toronto, we don't know what they're doing. Chicago, we don't know what they're doing. Like DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, like
No.
Indiana, no. Washington, no. Orlando, no. Charlotte, no. Detroit, no. The West, Denver, Memphis. Well, Memphis is really built on team. They're going to probably lose Ja, like we said, for at least 2/3 of the season.
Right.
Sacramento, Fox and Sabonis, really nice. Really nice.
They're not better than Murray.
No.
They're not Jokic and Murray.
No.
Phoenix, I already mentioned KD and Book. The Clippers going to clip. They out. Minnesota. Do Ant and Gobert all take a and Gobert's now what 27, 28? Like it's not.
Yeah,
No,
he's getting older.
29 actually.
29.
Yeah.
29.
So that's kind of moving along. The Lakers I already talked about. Golden State is on the other end. Oklahoma City, New Orleans.
Yeah, somebody
Like,
said SGA and Giddy. Don't sleep on them, but
and
they're not
Giddey?
there.
Even
Comparing them to Murray and Jokic, though,
no.
I'm not sleeping on them. I'm saying, look, I'm saying there's some nice ones, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying if I'm putting my money on it,
Yeah.
New Orleans, like we've already, like if Zion was healthy,
Zion and BI, I think could be. I think they
Maybe.
could go crazy,
Right.
but yeah, no.
right? Dallas, Luca, and
No.
is it could be Luca and
Kyrie.
Kyrie? How long Kyrie going to be there for? So it's
Right.
Luca and whoever they can get, maybe. Utah, they were building. Portland, we know we just had a whole long conversation about Portland.
Yeah.
Houston, Jalen Green and Sengun, like,
No.
and then San Antonio. Okay, maybe Wemba and
And question mark.
someone? Question mark.
And
So-
question mark, yeah.
So right now, this is, I think, easily the best duo today. Now, obviously, we said the greatest duo ever. Well, they've got some winning to do. They've got some winning to do.
Yeah, a lot
But
of
could they
ground.
win multiple championships? You know, if the pieces around them stay, whatever. Because the West isn't right. The West was a down year. We don't expect the West to be
Very
this
bad.
bad. But,
Yeah.
but could they win? Like, what would they have to be in a conversation with Shaq and Kobe, with Jordan and Pippen, with who are some of the other great duos, right?
Stockton and Malone.
Stockton and Malone. Hey, if they win this one, there's gonna be people who say they're already above Stockton and Malone because they won.
Nuts.
Hey, listen, how many
No.
MVPs does Malone have?
2.
So Jokic already got 2.
Mhm. The separator would be the championship.
The
In
sep-
terms
what
of doing, even though I don't think that as a duo that championship
They haven't done. You're right, but you know that conversation will happen.
right.
So
Who
to
has
get
some-
to, sorry,
Who
go
has the
ahead.
most MVPs? Is it
The ball.
Kareem
ball.
6.
Okay.
So Kareem and Magic would be the next one because those
Yeah.
two have, what do they have? 9 MVPs, 9 finals appearances,
Problem with Magic and
5 championships.
Problem with Magic and Jabbar is that they weren't a duo because they had James Worthy.
Well, that's also that's fair. That's fair. So that there you go. So you're gonna get that argument too. So what do they have to do to be in that? So let's say the Pippen, Jordan, Kobe, Shaq. Oh, they got to win at least 4. Like skill wise, people will make the argument, but they got to win at least 4 to be in the conversation, don't they?
No.
No?
I think that we're stopping at or we're starting at the championships and we're completely leaving out the other stuff. Like let's not forget the fact that Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen were first team all NBA for a number of different years. They were first team all league defenders for a number of different years. So these guys were elite on both sides of the basketball, which is a major reason why they were in the NBA finals and they were winning it. So when you talk about great duos, you talk about Shaq and Kobe. Just so you know, Shaq and Kobe were also first team all NBA performers.
But
they were
that's why I started with championships, because they got to get the winning. They got to get the winning part, and then we can start talking about the rest. Because someone just said, "Well, Shaq and Kobe only won 3." Yeah, but Shaq's better than Jokic, and Kobe's way better than Jamal. So they got to win.
But and my logic with that, Tone, is it's flipped for me. Like, you have to do the stuff that they did before we even get to the championships. The championships was the cherry on top. That's how they got there, with being all-league defenders.
Yeah, you're just
being
kind of going backwards.
My point is, if they don't win, the other stuff doesn't matter, right? Because like Malone and Stockton, why aren't they as high as they should be? Because they didn't win.
Whoa,
right?
whoa.
So all the other stuff becomes secondary to winning. Because let's say, yes,
Brandon is saying that Shaq is not better than Jokic. Is that a conversation that people are having? Jokic is better than Shaq? You have Jokic in your top 10 all-time players?
Dude, if you already have Jokic,
this is a conversation that we're about to have.
No, we're not.
We've gone
we're
too
not,
far.
because that's ridiculous.
Well, again. So
hold on, wait. Who was it that said that?
Brandon Katz.
Hey, Brandon Katz.
Stop it. Get some help.
Sorry for interrupting too, Flynn. I just
that's
saw
okay.
that. I had to call it out.
No, that's fair. No, appreciate that. I didn't see that one. I can't always see. That's why I can't always see the chat. But it did throw me. But so that's my point, is that Malone and Stockton's a good example because they didn't win.
Right.
What they did, the MVPs, leading the league all time in assists and steals, people diminish that because they didn't win. So what I'm saying is, one, they have to win, and then we can start looking at, well, did they have the first team all defense? Did they have the all NBA selections? Do they have the MVPs? Do they have the, because statistically they'll have the numbers. I think they'll have the numbers from like basic stats, because Jokic looks like he's on pace, right, to break a ton of statistical things. And Murray from a scoring perspective as well. And look, Murray's playing a little bit more of the point guard. If they bring in another scorer, he might even get his assists up too. So I think that's why I started on the flip side, because I know the way we're going to look at it in 20 years is that we're not going to, if they win one, we're not even having the conversation. People just say they only won one. Oh, but look at their numbers. They got 10 all NBA first teams. They got 10 all NBA. They didn't win. So that's why I say if they don't win, I don't think we're having the conversation. Would you like, if they only win one, are we having the conversation?
No. The greatest duo? Absolutely not.
No. So that's why I started there, because it's the easiest one.
Yeah.
Not the
and
easiest
especially if they were starting at like 23, 24, and Jamal hadn't had years off already, like maybe, but they're later already in their career. Not later, they're probably in early mid of like their prime, but still, it's like, I doubt in the league that we're in today, where there's super teams where people are constantly leaving, whether that changes or not. Like, I just think winning 4 chips in the next like 5-6 years is just probably not going to happen. But
we don't know who Jamal Murray is in the future. Is he going to hold up?
Yeah,
because he does have a history of injury. He tore his knee up. Don't get me wrong. All right, he tore his knee up. So plenty of guys recover from tearing up their knee. Is that going to be an issue later on? Is it going to be something else? And is it going to be something else in the future? But the point that I wanted to make, Tone, was when we get to this juncture of the season, in the process, I want to make sure that I that's the point of emphasis, Tone. In the process, when we get to this point of the season, in the process, we have guys who start to get compared. We start talking about them in a high regard. So when you rewind the clock back to 1994, so when Hakeem Olajuwon and Patrick Ewing were in the NBA Finals, the logic started to be, if Olajuwon wins this, where is he going to fall amongst the pantheon of great big men? Where is Ewing going to fall amongst the pantheon of great big men? Because at that point, they had been doing such great things. They had been all NBA performers. Olajuwon was a back-to-back defensive player of the year. These guys were some of the best bigs in the game. So in the process, this is how we were talking about them. So, of course, when Joker gets to the NBA Finals, what he's doing in the process, he's going to be talked about in the pantheon of bigs. Now, is he ever going to be in that conversation? Man, it's going to be hard to crack that top 5 of Jabbar, Chamberlain, Shaq, Russell, and Olajuwon. It's going to be hard to crack that top 5 considering what they've done over the course of their career. everything that they did. It's going to be hard to crack that top 5. Even that top 6, when you talk about guys like David Robinson, right? When you talk about guys like that, it's going to be tough to crack that. But when you're talking about a guy like Joker, you get to this point of the season, immediately this kind of logic is going to come up. And you're going to have people talking about guys like Jamal Murray. Is Jamal Murray a top 5 point guard in the game? Because championships are a big deal in the game. People, your career and your legacy is predicated, especially if you consider an elite player, your legacy is predicated on how much did you win. Now, I don't hold winning in that. I hold winning in a high regard, but there's a lot of things that have to happen in order for you to win. Now, when you're talking about a duo like Joker and like Jamal Murray, I think that they're fantastic right now, but they still got a lot of work to do in order to get talked about like Jordan and Pippen, to get talked about like Kobe and Shaq. Could we see these guys around for a while, Tone? Maybe, barring any health issues, these dudes might be around for a while. I don't know that for a fact, but as of right now, they look really good, and that's where I'm going to stay.
Yeah, and again, that's why I said if they win 4 as the number I threw out there,
right?
I believe they're going to win because they get all that other stuff, right? Like they're not going to win if they're playing poorly. They're not going to win if they're not, statistically and getting all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And that's where I think I don't think they're gonna, and so we might not have. Let's add some NHL to player's choice. You got it. I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're even gonna get there. But from a skill offense here, and here's the problem: no one looks at defense, damn it, anymore.
Well, that's what I was about. You just took the word. You just got it from me, Tone, because I'm thinking we were just having this conversation 2 years ago. Devin Booker, he might be the next Kobe Bryant. I'm thinking to myself, do we not play defense in the NBA? What is going on? Kobe Bryant was an elite defender. He wasn't a good offensive player. He was a great offensive player, and he was also an elite defensive player. He was elite on both sides of the basketball. That matters when you're talking about a guy in the all-time great conversation. All-time great. Like I had to listen to people talk to me today specifically. Yo, the Joker David Robinson conversation is getting old and it's getting tiring. And I'm thinking to myself, you have no idea how good David Robinson was. You are completely clueless on how good he was.
And that's where this is going to happen, is if we stay on this trajectory of offense is the only thing that matters.
Right.
People are going to look at Jokic and Murray and their offensive. If you just look at them offensively, well, we're having conversations, in that top 5 of all-time duos. We're having, because Jokic might be, if not already, the best offensive big man, like full offensive, when I say offensive, we've ever seen, from an IQ, playmaking, scoring, like he.
It's the term, though, Tone, because I want to make sure that I heard you correctly, because I want to make sure that we're clear here. If they continue on this trajectory, Tone ain't saying that today that they're like that.
Not today.
If they keep doing what they're doing, maybe later on we might be able to have a conversation about these two, like we talk about in this team right here, or these two guys. We might be able to talk about them. But what they're doing right now is what young guys who are on their way to doing something special. We shouldn't be talking about these guys like we talk about Shaq and Kobe.
Now, someone showed me a stat today. And they compared Kobe and Shaq on I think their first finals run, and showed me like points per game, assists, rebounds, whatever. And the points per game were the same, rebounds were about the same, and assists was significantly higher for Murray and Jokic through 2 games in the finals. And I kind of went, well, yeah, but they're also scoring 20 more points per game. You're going to have more assists. Like you got to put that into context too. It's just it's
that does matter.
It's different.
That does matter. That does matter.
And again, they only talked offense. There's no conversation about defense at all. So that's all. Yeah. That's all. But hey, listen, I love, like I said, for me, they are the best duo in the NBA right now. And
since you brought
continues,
that's what I'm saying, Tom. When you run down the better duos in the game and the better teams in the game, when you talk about Jamal Murray and you talk about Joker, well, when you talk about duos, all right, well, give me somebody better. Give me somebody, because I personally think I don't think they're breaking up Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I don't think they're breaking those two guys.
They keep them together.
I think they're going to keep them together. I think that we're going to come to some sort of median in terms of the money. But because when you got the, I've always said this, Tom. When you got the formula, you do not pour it down the drain. And they got the formula. They clearly are. They aren't that far away. With that being said, the Denver Nuggets, I felt like they were the only team that could challenge your Dubs. I thought they were the only team that could challenge your Dubs in the West. I saw what Memphis was doing. I saw what Dallas was doing. I saw what New Orleans was doing. I saw what the Lakers were doing, and I thought that this Denver team is the only team that could give Golden State a legit shot. Now, the fact that the Lakers did beat them, okay, I get that. But you saw what happened when Denver ran up on the Lakers, swept them out the playoffs.
Well, it just shows it shows how bad Golden State was too this season. It was just
right.
I know we're running low on time. We have a few more super chats to get to. I do want to say this though. I completely disagree with you. I not only think that Boston doesn't think they have the formula, whether they do or not. You might be right. They might have the formula. I don't think they have the formula. I don't think you're going to see Jaylen Brown there to start the season. I also think Missoula doesn't last the first month. Unless they come out winning a bunch of games, I don't think Missoula lasts. Even if they do,
I do think
Missoula lasts the first month.
To be honest with you, Tom, with them hiring Sam Cassell, I think that leash has got
so it's a little test phase, but he'll probably be on his way out if he's not perfect.
What do they call it? He's like a sitting duck, but what do they call it when you're
lame duck?
Lame duck coach? Yeah, he's just keeping the seat warm for somebody else, which is
would not be surprised if this thing started where they were 500 to start the season, like the first month of the season, this thing wasn't going well, and it was like, you know what?
Yeah,
maybe we'll go in a different direction.
All right, let's finish off our bets that are so super.
Okay, Brian Holiday, how y'all feel about Zion pushing P from coast to coast but can't make it to practice? Well, we did touch on it. What can they do at this point? 2019 was a rough year, apparently.
Speaking, oh no, I won't do that today. Forget it. All right, keep going.
Okay. Baba G Cuts, what was y'all's first car in? What do you have right now?
I had my first car was a Nissan Maxima, and I screwed up the tape deck in the car because I played Flavor in Your Ear so many times that I screwed up the tape deck in my car. Here comes the brand new Flavor. I played that song so much, Tone. I screwed up the tape deck in my I screwed up the tape deck in my car. So.
Would the little string get caught in it?
Oh yeah, I screwed the tape deck. Oh my knees. Yes. Oh my goodness, I played that song so much.
First car, and what do you have now?
My first car, does it count? Like, because my first car was, I got to borrow my parents' car, but my first car was like a 80-something Thunderbird or Thunderbird. And then right now, I got my baby mobile. I got my Lincoln. All right.
Stinking Lincoln, baby.
I bought, you know what? I got it because it was the only car big enough that when we had the twins, that when you put two rear-facing child seats, I could sit in the front seat, right? I'm tall, I'm 6'3", that I could sit and like the steering wheel wasn't up against my chest.
Oh yeah, you still had some room.
Rear-facing child seats.
Heck yeah.
And I'll even tell you my next car, because the way we do it is Mrs. Fluent gets a new one. And then, because she doesn't really drive that much, so I'll get her car like 4 years old with like almost no mileage on it. So I'll be getting her Rover when she's done with it, and then she'll
hand it over.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
She always gets a new one. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'll take that. I'll take those off your hands. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we smart with our money. We're smart.
Okay, Double P. In their first final, Shaq and Kobe.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, there we go. I'll let you guys read those. And
okay,
then
Shaq and Kobe, 53.6 points per game, 21.3 rebounds per game, 6.5 assists per games. Jokic and Murray so far in only 3 games, let's be honest, but 59.3, 20.7, so less rebounds, more points, and then 19.3 assists. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
Murray's having a great season. Right? Yeah.
We're not gonna undersell Murray, or we're not going to oversell Murray at the expense of Bryant, though. We're not doing that. No, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, and again, that's the basic, right? That's why I say, like, you got to look at so much more. But yes, basic points per game, assist, rebounds, phenomenal.
Jackson Williams, Zion and Ja making my state look bad right now.
South Carolina looking kind of whack right now.
Is Zion from there
Jackson.
too?
Yeah, they both from there.
Oh.
Uh-huh. South Carolina looking kind of whack right now, huh?
Do they play? I wonder if they played
Yeah.
at like
Yeah,
They're
they
gonna
together,
send
yeah.
the
or
AAU
anything?
team. Yes, they were.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
were
yeah.
gonna send the AAU
Okay.
team. Yeah, they
That's
go
dope.
I
to
love. I know this isn't the part of South Carolina. Hilton Head is my favorite, like one of my favorite places in the world. I love.
Well,
going
I heard Hilton Head is really nice, man.
Beautiful. I when we went there for a couple of weeks, and I didn't want to leave. I was looking at houses. I'm like, I'm staying.
This is my new home.
And Miss Flu was like, we should have that. We can have that conversation.
We can sit down and talk about it now.
It's nice.
Double P salute. Last night the Nuggets walked down Miami in that third quarter. Like I said last week in the comment section after the episode, Nuggets in 5.
That's what I got. I still got the Nuggets in 5. I do. I still got the Nuggets in 5. So
for the sake of basketball, please let it go 6 because we're never going to hear the end of this if it's Nuggets in 5. I feel like just because people were so disappointed in this matchup to begin with, and I think Miami can stick in there.
Well, of course they were disappointed in this matchup because
we were robbed of a Celtics Lakers.
Because it's a 1 versus 8, which already is, regardless of the teams and the players, it's a 1 versus 8. So you're kind of like, But you're talking about the two most storied franchises in NBA history that both have 17 titles, that have still the biggest star in basketball in LeBron James, and one of the best duos we just talked about in Jaylen Brown. There's a lot to talk. Boston and one of the craziest NBA fan bases. The Lakers, the second biggest city in the country. Like, there's a lot. Like, the viewership. And don't forget, I don't know if you know this, they looked at the top 5 finals games.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
You see that?
Yeah. It's dropped
Number
down.
5 was like one of the 90s Bulls. Number 4 was one of the 90s Bulls. Number 3 was Game 7.
Yeah.
Cavs come back on the Warriors, and then 1 and 2 were 90s Bulls. This would have been
it was
Lakers
like triple or double what it is now. Yeah,
Lakers and Celtics would have been good for TV, and that's what pays the bills. Don't forget.
Yeah, true. All right, Angie Carr, Zion making a super team, just not on the court.
He trying. He ain't playing. He ain't playing. Zion dead serious. He like, yo, I'm gonna get a crew out here. I'm gonna get a crew out here.
Who wins in a 5-on-5? Zion's 5 or Kendall Jenner's NBA All-Star team?
Well, Zion don't got 5 yet, so
not that we know of anyway.
No,
and we don't know him. But yeah, man.
The jury's still out on him, H.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep hearing about, because I remember on TikTok, like during COVID, there was a girl that came out and she was like, did you see that video? Because TikTok was less like saturated, and she was like, Zion had me to his like mansion and like blah blah blah. So that was just another girl 2 years ago that was going off about their in
was that
interaction.
Real?
That's what people said, but then she had receipts, so
hey.
she had like snap receipts, just like this chick. So I believe it at this point.
And they're like millionaires in their 20s.
I was gonna say that's so normal. Like but
Derek Jeter used to have a care basket.
Yeah,
pre-made. Pre-made, and be like, thank you, and he'd send you home with like a little gift bag, a little iPad Mini, a charger, like a little stack of cash.
That's the way to do it. That's smart.
To replenish your energy in a bottle of water, he was ready. He gave so good for him. It's like when we go. I don't know if you've ever been to like the Oscars or the Emmys or anything. They give you like a little gift for coming. And there's great stuff in there. I think that's what Derek Jeter. Maybe that's where he got the idea from.
Good manners. Good manners.
His mama raised him right.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. Literally.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Hey yo.
Hey yo. All right. T-Rev, Keldon Johnson, the new KJ, and Wemby.
I like Keldon Johnson, but Kevin Johnson good. I don't know about that. Let's relax on that before we go. Before we jump the gun on that. So yeah.
Angie Carr, Zion loves slapping backboards and cheeks.
Hey, yes he does. Yes he does. So
and Angie, thank you, Angie. You made the show wonderful.
We just need to put a little book of these together. Penetration is unmatched and unstoppable.
Yes.
Hey yo.
Angie, you know what I need you to do? I don't know if you got these from somewhere else, but I saw the bunch that you did on the panel. I'm assuming you did some on closed gym or whatever they call. And just if you could just email me the list of all of them, just send it to anthonyk@sportsfluent.com. I will make a full like thing, and I don't know where you are on social media. I'll even tag you in it, but I'm going to post them all as Angie Zionisms.
Zionisms, yeah.
She's going to send us home with this one.
Okay, last one. Zion going to Sacramento Kings.
Well, we know what we like now. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Beautifully said. All right, you guys, we're gonna wrap up. But any last thoughts from either of you two before we call it a night?
By this time next week, we're gonna have an NBA champion.
So what are we gonna talk about next week?
Mm-hmm. We're gonna
the
talk
draft,
about.
I guess.
We're gonna recap the final.
Yes,
talk about the draft.
Yeah.
Which means summer's coming, which means it's time to start bringing on some guests too.
Yep.
And we're gonna get the hypotheticals going. That's gonna be the theme.
Okay, I like the hypotheticals.
I like it.
You know, this is how they play you off at the Oscars. So you're gonna get a care basket. I'll send it to you guys in the mail.
Okay. All right, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for joining Fluent and Chill, and we'll see you next week. Okay.
Take it light. Take it.